Hi, my name is Ben. In this video, we're going to learn how to build a real-time overclone. In here, once the customer is going to log in inside the system, he's going to pick the taxi 01 mini model X, and then he's going to pass here his location, and also we're going to pass here the destination. We're going to use Mapbox API in order to get a list of location. And then here I'm passing the destination is Bakersfield. I'm going to pick here Bakersfield, California, United States. And then I'm click on the button book taxi now in order to create the trip. And we have here a trip which is ongoing and 4 completed trip. And then in here, I'm going to click pay. Once in here, the customer is going to pass you his car number, the expiration date, and also is going to pass you the validation code of the car and the zip code. And then the customer is going to click on the pay button. Once the payment finishes, we are going to redirect the customer on the map page. And you can see that actually the payment passed. We are going to be redirected on the trip page. And after 2 seconds, they're going to redirect us on the map page where we can see the location of the customer and destination of the customer on the map. And here we are going to use graph algorithm in order to detect the nearest driver on the map. And you can see that actually the driver goes to the location of the customer in order to pick him. And then here, the trip is going to be started. You can see the driver moved to the destination of the driver, and then the trip is completed. And in here, we are going to see right here, we have payments. You can see completed payments and canceled payments. If we head in Stripe, you're going to see that actually the payment is passed right here. And also we can refund the payments. I'm going to click right here on this payment. And then we are going to refund the payment. Now I'm going to go inside the Stripe dashboard. And then in here, we are going to click refunded. And then you can see this is the payment that we just refunded is right here. And you can see inside of our app, that the payment has been cancelled right here, and the amount it is the same as here. Before we start, I'm going to give you the quick demo of the entire app, and then you're going to get the idea what you're going to learn throughout this video. I'm going to go to the authentication page by clicking on login button, and then in here we're on the login page, and we have the sign up page here. In here, I'm passing here Biden. We're going to create here a user, and then pass here biden@gmail.com. I'm going to click next. We are going to pass here the password, and then I'm click next. And we are going to send an email verification for the user in order to check if his email is valid. We are going to use queue and background jobs and mail them for testing email locally. And then in here, I'm going to copy this code in order to validate his email address. I'm going to pass it right here. And then we are going to be redirected on the welcome page. I'm going to log out again here. And then, as you can see right here, we have 2 possibilities to log in inside of our app. We can use the built-in authentication, or we can use Google. If I click right here, continue with Google, I'm going to log in using Google. And then you can see that actually we're on the welcome page again, and we can see the email of the person who is logged in. His name is Ijembo, and the role is the customer. We are going to handle roles inside of our system. I'm going to click again logout, and then we're going to make a demo with another user. I'm pass here Andrew. I'm going to sign in Andrew, and then I'm pass Andrew@gmail.com. And then I'm click next. I'm pass here the password 126. Click sign in. And then in here, we're going to land on the welcome page. In here, the customer can see a list of vehicle, but also the price. The customer can create a trip. We have here our menu, the home page, the trip page, where we can see the list of trips, the payment page. We can see canceled and completed. And also we can see vehicles right here. I can create a vehicle by clicking on create. And then I'm passing the taxi name 009, the model Y, and then I'm pass the price per kilometer, I'm passing 2, and then I'm click save. We can create a taxi and we can edit a taxi. I'm gonna click here, we can edit it, and also we can upload an image for the taxi. and then I'm gonna pick it right here, and then I click open, save. And here you can see we have here this taxi, and if we move to the welcome page, you're gonna see it right here. And also we have the users page. I'm going to log in the admin so that you can see the users page. I'm pass here admin for the email, and then I'm pass the password. We are going to move to the users page. And then you can see right here, the admin has the possibility to see the users page. Here you can see a list of users. We have here pagination. We can edit a row, and we can search for the user. I'm pass here Ben. And also we can see payments, and we're gonna be using Stripe in order to handle payments. Now here's a list of technology that we're gonna leverage in order to build our app. We're gonna use Vue 3 for single page application, Tailwind CSS for styling our UI, Hero icons for adding icons inside our app, Vue Router for handling navigation inside of our app, Mapbox for geolocation, Leaflet for adding map inside of our app, Graph algorithms to detect the nearest driver on a map, ChatGPT to calculate distance between 2 points geographically, Pinia for state management, Laravel Cashier and Stripe for handling payments, Laravel 11 for backend, Laravel Socialte, and Google Auth for third-party authentication. We are going to use Laravel Sanctum for issuing token, Maildev for testing email locally. We're going to talk about background jobs. And finally, we are going to use Laravel Reverb for real-time communication between the driver and the customer. Alright guys, now if you talk about prerequisites, you only need basics to follow along this video. You only need basics of Vue and Laravel. And anything else, these basics are going to be pretty important. And don't worry, in this video, this tutorial is like a course because I teach everything step by step until we finish. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, now we're gonna start with the development process. We are going to install some tools that we're gonna be using along in order to build our full stack app. We're going to install Exam, Compose, and Node. You're gonna go to Google, type within the search bar, Exam PHP 8.2. This is the supported version for Laravel 11 projects. And then you can see this is the PHP version that I'm actually running. You type php-v, you can see that I'm installing 8.2. This is the PHP version. Now, in order to get it, you're going to type this within the search bar, and then you're going to click on download exam. And once you're on this page, you're going to download exam version with a PHP version 8.2. You're going to do this. Now, we're going to install another tool, which is the Laravel installer. Now, in order to install the Laravel installer, you have to make sure you got the dependency manager. You're going to install to Composer. I'm going to tap right here. Composer is a PHP dependency manager. You're going to download it, and then you're going to install it. So once you got it, you're going to tap this Composer, and then once you see this, it means you got Composer. Now, in order to install the Laravel installer, which is a tool that we're going to use in order to install the Laravel 11 project, you're going to copy this line right here, and then you're going to tap this within your command prompt, and then you're going to tap enter, and then you're going to get Laravel installer. Once you got Laravel installer on your computer, you're going to tap now this command in order to install a brand new Laravel 11 project. I'm going to type right here, Laravel new. And then you're going to see they're going to prompt me to enter the name of my project. We're going to wait a bit. And then you can see what is the name of your project. I'm passing here Uber clone. And then you're going to tap enter. You can see, yeah, I'm going to repeat the process again. I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to type here Laravel new. And then what is the name of your project? I'm passing Uber clone. And then I'm tap enter. And then would you like to install a starter kit? I'm passing none. Which testing framework do you prefer? I'm passing one. I'm going to use PHP unit, but we are not going to write tests for this project. Would you like to initialize Git repository? I'm passing no right now. And then we are going to continue. You can see now they're going to start creating a brand new Laravel 11 project. Yeah, you're going to see the installation process is going to start. It's going to take you 1 minute to finish. Once you finish installing a Laravel 11 project, guys, you're going to do this. You're going to get into within your project. You can see, actually, I've already installed mine. You can see Uber clone, and I've already opened it within my text editor. You can see this is a brand new Laravel 11 project. You're gonna see within the controllers folder, I got the controller.php file. It is empty. I haven't yet put in anything. We got the migrations folder. We got some migrations that came along with a brand new Laravel 11 project. We got the users, migrations, the cache, and the jobs, and the personal access tokens. And if we get into within the views folder, we got a welcome.blade.php file. We got some code right here, and we got also the root folder. Now, once you finish installing a brand new Laravel project, you're gonna get only the web.php. Now, we're going to create the API.php file. Now, we're going to use the API.php file for RESTful API, while we use the web.php file when we want to render to save web pages. Now, we're going to type this command in order to create the API.php file. You're going to type php artisan and pass it php artisan install and then calling API. And then you're going to get this file right here, API.php. Now, we're going to get into within env file. We are going to set up a database. We are going to use MySQL as our database. You're going to pass here the name of my database is uberclone, DB username is root, and DB password is empty. You're going to get into within your MySQL database, and then you're going to create this database. And I do this, I'm using MySQL CLI, I'm type MySQL-u root-p, and then I'm navigating, and then you're going to create your database. I've already do that. Like if I type here, use uberclone, pass here uberclone, and then you can see this is my database. Adjust, you can see database change, and then I pass here show tables, and then you can see that actually I got some tables, cache logs, I got the migrations table, I got the users, the session. Now you're gonna type php artisan migrate to create this table. Now I'm gonna type here something php artisan save to run our Laravel app. Now we're going to install another tool, which is Node, guys. I'm gonna get into the browser, and then we're going to install Node because we are going to use Vue.js for our front ends. Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment. You're gonna go at Node.js website, and then you're gonna download Node, and then you're gonna install it. And if you want to see your Node.js version, you're gonna tap node-v, and then you can see this is my Node.js version. I'm using the version 18. You're gonna install Node 2. Now we are going to check first what we got right here. You can see actually I've already run my Laravel projects, and I'm gonna tap this address, and then you're gonna see what we're gonna get right here. We got a beautiful landing page that came with a brand new Laravel project. Now we are going to install Vue.js. Now we are going to copy this command right here. We are going to copy this command, and then you're gonna put it within your command prompt. I'm gonna start my Laravel projects, and then you're gonna tap npm-d at vue.js/plugin-vue. You're gonna tap this command. Now, once you install this plugin, we are going to do this again. We are going to run this command npm install Vue at latest in order to install the latest version of Vue.js. You're gonna tap this command in order to install Vue router. npm install Vue router at 4, and then we're going to install Tailwind CSS. First of all, we are going to import Vue from the vue.js/plugin-vue. We are going to get into within the vita-config.js file, and then we're going to pass Vue from the plugins array. Now we're going to install Tailwind CSS. You're gonna copy this command npm install -d Tailwind CSS, and once done, we are going to create a tailwind.config.js file. I'm gonna copy this content, and then we're going to put it within the tailwind.config.js file. Now, right here, we got the contents array. We are going to pass in the extensions of file we're going to put in Tailwind CSS utilities. And then here and pass the Vue extension and the JavaScript extension. Now we are going to put the views files inside the JavaScript folder. I'm going to create right here a source folder. And inside the source folder is where we're going to put in all our Vue files. And right here, I'm going to pass here the path is resources/JavaScript folder, and then / the source folder. Now we are going to do another thing, guys. we are going to create the input.css file inside the CSS folder. We got the CSS folder right here. I'm not putting the input.css, and then I'm putting these Tailwind directives. Also, we're going to create a script in order to compile Tailwind CSS code. I'm going to cut this command, and then we're going to get into within the package.json file, and then we're going to pass it right here. And then we are going to pass here the resources folder /CSS /input.css that we put within the CSS folder. And then we are going to specify the output folder is the app.css file. Now we're going to create a Vue.js app. We're going to get into within the app.js file. We're going to import the create app from Vue, pass here import, and then we're going to pass here create app. And we're going to create right here constant is create app. And we're going to mount our Vue.js app to the DOM and pass here mount. And we're going to pass here the app attributes. This element, we need to create it inside the welcome blade.php file. And in here, I'm going to copy first this file directive. And then I'm going to remove all this stuff and pass here HTML5. And then we're going to pass you the app.css and the app.js file using the add file directive. Now I'm going to create this element right here is a div. We're going to pass it an attribute, and then I'm passing you app. And once we're going to run our app, we are going to mount our Vue.js app to the DOM. You can see that actually we just imported the app.js inside the welcome.blade.php file. Now I'm going to create a folder inside the source folder. I'm going to name it router. I'm going to create another one. I'm going to name it pages. And then I'm going to pass it the pages. Yeah, we're going to pass it the pages. Yeah, like this. I'm going to remove it right here. And then I'm going to create it inside the source folder and pass it pages like this. Now we're going to create, we are going to import Vue router. We are going to go to vuerouter.com, and then right here, I'm going to copy this code right here at the doc of router.vuejs.org website. And then I'm going to put it within the index.js file. I'm going to pass index.js file, and then I'm pass it right here. I'm going to remove that. And that too. Now we're going to export the router instance, and then we're going to pass it to the Vue instance. I'm going to get into within the app.js, and then in here we're going to pass it import router. Yeah, router. We import it from the router folder, and then in order to pass it to the Vue instance, we're going to pass it app use, and then we're going to pass it router like this. You can see that actually we have imported the create app function, but we haven't yet passed it a component, a root component. You can see it takes a parameter, which is the root component. Now we're going to use this root component in order to render our pages. Now I'm going to get into within the source folder. I'm going to create right here app.vue, and in here I'm going to pass it the template and pass it router view. The router view is a Vue built-in component that allows to render array components. Now we are going to import it within the app.js, and then I'm passing import app from the source folder, and then we're going to pass it to the create app function like this. Now we're going to create inside the pages folder. We're going to create two page login page. Yeah, I'm going to name it login page. And I'm going to create a second one. We're going to name it sign up page.vue. And in here, I'm passing the template tag. I'm passing div tag, and then I'm passing h1 and say I'm passing sign up page. I'm going to copy the content. I'm going to put it within the login page. And in here, I'm passing a login page like this. Now we're going to pass these two pages to the Vue router, and then I'm going to get in the index.js file. And I'm going to pass here an object. We're going to pass here the path of the page is login. The name here, we're going to pass here login. And I'm going to pass here another property, which is the component. We're going to use dynamic imports. We are going to use dynamic import in order to split this page into chains. And then here, we're going to pass here imports like this. I'm going to pass here imports. And then I'm going to pass here the path of the file. We are going to move back. We're gonna get out the router folder. We're going to get into within the pages folder, and then I'm passing a login page. I'm gonna copy these objects, and then right here we're going to pass you sign up, and like this. Yeah, I'm passing sign up, and then here we're gonna pass you / sign up page like this. Now we're going to try this inside the browser, and before that we're gonna get into first within the web.php file. We're going to do one more thing. And right here we have a root right here. It points to this is the base URL of our Laravel app. And then right here, I'm gonna pass you the path here. I'm gonna pass you app / and then the root parameter. I'm passing here any. And here, guys, when we're going to pass you the name of a Vue file, we are going to retain the welcome page. Let's say we have here the base URL. I'm gonna do this. We're going to pass it / app / login. We are going to render the login page. If we pass here sign up, we are going to render the sign up page. The sign up right here is the name of a Vue page. And here, instead of any, I'm pass here Vue page like this. And every time we're going to pass here app / Vue page is a parameter, we are going to render a Vue page. I think you get the idea. You get the idea, guys. Now we are going to get into the browser, and then we're gonna try this. Now what I'm going to do again, and now first of all, I'm gonna comment this. I'm gonna comment this, and I'm gonna use the web history, and then I'm gonna show you the difference between the create memory history and the difference between the create web history. Yeah, I'm gonna show you the difference. Now let's get into the browser, and then we're gonna try this. And I'm gonna tap here npm run dev in order to run the video server, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. I'm gonna copy the Laravel base URL. We're gonna do this. We're going to get into the browser, and then I'm pass here / app / login, and then I'm tap inner, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. Let's see. Yeah, right now we don't get anything. And we're going to pass something to the create web history. The create web history return the base URL of our Laravel app. Now I'm gonna pass you / app in order to load one of these pages inside the root array. Now I'm gonna tap here. I'm gonna refresh the page again, and then you're gonna see what we're gonna get. And now you can see we got the login page. And if I pass here sign up, yeah, you're gonna see we're going to get right here sign up page. Yeah, you can see that actually everything works pretty well. Now let me show you the difference between the create web history and the create memory history. I'm going to get into the login page, and in here I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna copy this. We are going to pass here a router link component. I'm passing router link, and then we are going to I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna copy it. Yeah, do this router link, and I'm gonna duplicate it, and then I'm pass here about page. I'm gonna pass here sign up page. Yeah, I'm pass here sign up page like this, and right here we're gonna pass here the two attributes, and then we're gonna pass here / login, and for the second one we're gonna pass here 2 / sign up, and I'm gonna copy these roots. I'm gonna copy these roots, and then I'm pass it within the sign up page, and right here. Now you can see here, guys, we got right here to link. I'm gonna add a space to make things clean, a break tag here, and to right here to a break tag. Now let's go back within the browser. You can see if I click on the login page, we are going to move to the login page, and within the navbar we pass here app / login. The path is changing automatically. If I click sign up page, we're going to move to the sign up page, and the path is changing automatically. What if we use right here the create memory history? I'm gonna do this. I'm pass here app I'm pass here / app, and then I'm gonna comment the second line. And then if I refresh right here the page, we're going to get an empty page because we don't have this page within the memory. And here, in order to get it, I'm gonna pass you for the path. We are going to pass you / it means we're going to pass here the base URL of our Laravel app / app, and then we're going to load the login page, and we load the login page. But if we check the path is app / sign up, And if I move to the sign up page, you can see we move to the sign up page and the path doesn't change. You can see it's sign up. Now I'm gonna move again to the login page. I'm gonna click right here, login, and then let me show you. We are going to change right here now the path within the login page. And here I'm pass here to this and pass here to /. Now if we check again, we are going to pass here base URL /app, and then we are going to load the login page. Yeah, we don't load it. And then we're going to check within the index.js file, everything is correct. And then we're going to try it again and pass here app /, and then I'm tap inner /, and right here I'm pass here /login. And then right here we're going to load we're on the login page. And right now I'm gonna tap here sign up. You can see we move to the sign up page, but we don't change the path right here. You can see the path is login. I'm gonna move to the login page. Yeah, we don't change the path. You can see that actually the path doesn't change. And this is the difference between the create memory history and the create web history. Alright guys, now we're gonna start using Tailwind CSS to design our UI. We're gonna start with the login page. And before we start, you have to make sure you run this script, npm run build script, to compile your Tailwind CSS file. And then here we're gonna start with the login page. We're going to get into within the pages folder. We're gonna create in two folders. The first one is the admin folder, and the second one we're gonna name it the all folder. We're going to move the login page and the sign up page inside the all folder. Now we're going to check within the router. We're gonna check if the path has been updated, and now we're gonna pass here the new path is off /login page, and then here is pages /sign up pages. And then like this, now we're going to get into within the login page, and then I'm gonna remove that and see if what we're gonna get within the browser. And then I'm going to refresh right here the page and see what we're gonna get. We don't got anything right here. We don't got updates within the pages within the browser. You can see. And now I'm gonna try to fix something right here. We pass here pages /off /login, and then let me check right here what we got. We got everything is correct. Now I'm going to rerun our Vue. We're gonna run the Vue server. I'm gonna rerun it again. I'm type here npm run dev, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. We're gonna wait a bit. Now I'm gonna refresh the page again and right here, and then you can see that actually we got an empty page. Now what I'm going to do here, we are going to design the login page. I'm passing the class of flex, and then flex row to align item within a row. I'm pass here justify between, and the margin tab we're gonna pass you 40. Now I'm gonna put inside this div free div, and for the second div is where we're gonna put in our login form. And in here I'm gonna pass here the size. The size of the login form we're gonna pass here 300 pixel, and then here I'm passing an h1 and say pass here sign in, pass here sign in. Yeah, you can see we get right here sign in, and then here I'm passing an input, and then I'm passing placeholder. I'm say enter email like this, and I'm passing a button, and here I'm gonna say sign in. Yeah, sign in, and I'm gonna pass another button right here. I'm going to pass here another button, and then I'm passing continue with Google like this. And we're going to pass here the Google image. I'm not import it, and I'm pass here first of all. I'm pass here an image tag. I'm passing an image tag. And inside the source folder, we're gonna create in another folder. We're gonna name it API. Inside the API, we're going to create in an object, and I'm gonna name it API.js, and we're going to export a constant. I'm gonna name it API, and then we're gonna name it app, and then is equal. We're going to pass here the base URL of our Laravel app. I'm gonna copy it from the browser, and also we're gonna pass it another property, we're gonna pass it the API base URL. Right here, we pass here the base URL of our Laravel app, and then we're gonna pass here the API base URL, and then we're gonna pass it the base URL of our Laravel app /API like this. Now we are going to import the app object inside the login page. I'm gonna use Vue Composition API. I'm going to import the app objects. I'm gonna import it from the app.js file, and here we are going to pass here vbounds, and then we are going to pass here app, and then that base URL, and here I'm passing /image folder /google.svg file, and here for the alt attribute I'm passing logo like this. And then we can use even the shortcuts of the vbound. We can just pass colon, and we are going to load the image. If you get into within the public folder, you're gonna see that we got this image right here, public folder, image folder, and google.svg file there. And then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to add some tagging CSS class to the inputs. And here I'm passing the class, and then I'm passing around it MD to add a border around the inputs. I'm passing border to add a border radius. I'm gonna start first with the border. I'm passing border, and then you're gonna see we're going to add a border. I'm passing around it MD, and then I'm add the padding in y-axis to the padding in x-axis too. And then you can see we are adding the border, and then I'm add a width, and here I'm passing 100 pixels to take up the full width. And then we are going to move to the button. We have two right here, two buttons. The first one is signing, and the second one is continue with Google. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna put it within another div, and then here I'm gonna do this. I'm passing the class of flex column to align item within a column, flex column like this. Yeah, and then here I'm gonna pass you these two buttons, and for the first button I'm passing the class of BG Indigo. Yeah, you're gonna see you're going to pass here BG Indigo, and then I'm passing here 700. You're gonna see we just added a background color. And then what I'm gonna do next here, guys, I'm going to add right here, I'm gonna add here I'm gonna say the text white, and then we're gonna add in the padding in x-axis and the padding in y-axis and the padding in x-axis. I'm pass here 2, and we're gonna add here around it a border radius, and I'm gonna add a shadow. I'm pass here shadow empty like this. I'm gonna pass shadow small. We're going to take up the full width in x-axis and pass here 100. And then you can see that actually we don't take up the full width, and because we just pass here the class of flex, I'm gonna comment this, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. And it's much better. For the second button right here, I'm pass here 2, and I'm pass here BG gray 300. Yeah, like this. And then I'm pass here rounded MD, padding in y-axis, pass here 2, padding in x-axis, and pass here 2. And then we're going to pass here flex to display item within a column. You can see that actually within the second button we got the image tag and the text right here. For the text, I'm gonna wrap it within a span tag, and then I'm pass here flex like this to align item within a row. Pass here flex, and then we're going to align item within a row. And here I'm going to add here the gap between item and pass here 2, and then let's see what we're gonna get. Yeah, we got 2. For the width, we're going to pass here 100%, and then I'm passing another class justify center. We're going to center this item within the continue with Google button. Now I'm going to add a margin between this item, margin bottom, and pass here free. And then I'm adding a text free and pass it the text size free XL. And here I'm gonna pass here font semi-bold, and then I'm gonna pass to the inputs a margin bottom of 2, and to the button here, margin bottom 2. Now I'm gonna add here a space between the sign in button and the continue with Google button. And then here I'm passing another div. And then here I'm passing the class of flex. And here I'm passing an HR tag. I'm gonna duplicate it. And I'm gonna pass here a div tag. We're gonna pass here all. And here we're gonna pass here the class, or we're gonna pass the class of h1 for the size of the tag. I'm passing 1 pixel. Pass here 1 pixel, and then bg black like this. And then we're going to pass here the width of 48. And pass here the width of 48% like this. And then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. And you can see that actually we got a line right here. And I'm gonna pass you, we're gonna pass you the margin tab, we're gonna pass you 3. And we're going to move the line at the bottom. And then I'm gonna copy it, and then we're gonna pass it right here again. And now we're gonna pass here the margin bottom, we're gonna pass here 2. And then we are going to have right here something which is beautiful. You can see sign in or log in with Google, sign in or continue with Google. And everything it looks fine right now. Alright guys, now gonna be talking about the keep alive component. The keep alive component is a Vue built-in component that we use when we want to switch between multiple components. And before we put in use this built-in component, I'm gonna talk you about the dynamic component. We're gonna understand how it works, and then we are going to use the keep alive components. Now we are going to install Pinia. You're going to tap npm install Pinia. Pinia is a Vue state management that we use inside a Vue project in order to manage the state. If you doesn't know what is Pinia, how it works, go check it out this video, guys. And then I'm passing npm run dev. Once you install Pinia, you're going to tap npm run dev. And then you can see that actually I've already installed it. And I'm going to get into my package.json file, and you can see I got it within the dependencies object. You can see we got it right here. We got Pinia. Now I'm gonna create a store folder inside the source folder. I'm gonna pass here stores is where we're gonna put in all our Pinia store. And the first Pinia store that we're gonna create, we're gonna name it. I'm passing login store, and then that login store.js. And in here, we're going to, first of all, we're going to get into within the app.js, and then we're going to import Pinia. We are going to create a Pinia instance. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pass here const Pinia is equal to create Pinia app like this. And then we're going to pass it to the Vue instance app.use, and then I'm passing Pinia like this. Now we are going to get into within the login store.js file. And in here, I'm going to import a function right here, define store. Yeah, I'm going to import it. Yeah, define store. And then I'm going to create I'm going to export a function. I'm going to export a constant exports const. I'm going to name it use login store. Yeah, use login store like this is equal to the define store. And we are going to pass it the name of the Pinia store. I'm going to pass here login. And then we are going to pass here, we are going to return an object. Yeah, like this. And right here, we are going to use Vue composition style. In Pinia, we have the possibility to use the Vue option API and the Vue composition API. Right now, I'm going to use the Vue composition API for clean code. Now, I'm going to create right here a constant. I'm going to pass here const current. I'm going to pass here current page. Yeah, I'm gonna pass here current step. Yeah, I'm passing current step is equal to, we are going to assign it a reactive property using the ref function. The current step, we are going to assign it for the current step, we're gonna assign it step 1 like this. And then I'm gonna import the ref function from Vue like this. And here I'm passing import ref from Vue like this. Now we're going to return the current step a reactive property and pass it to the return statement like this. Now inside the O folder, I'm not creating another folder. I'm gonna name it login. And inside the login folder, I'm gonna put in and pass here. I'm gonna say step 1, the Vue, and then I'm gonna put in the second step. I'm pass here step 2. Yeah, like this, the Vue. And then we are going to create here another folder. We're gonna name it sign up and pass here sign up. And then inside the sign up page, we're gonna put in also the step 1 and the step 2 and so on. Now, what I'm gonna do right here, guys, I'm going to get into within login page, and then I'm gonna copy the input and the button. I'm gonna put it within the step 1. I'm pass here templates, and then we are going to pass it right here. I'm gonna pass here the script tag, and we're going to pass here the script. I'm gonna pass here the script tag, and we're gonna pass it setup. And to say that we are going to use Vue Composition API, and then I'm gonna import the unmounted hook function, and then we are going to console something within the console. I'm gonna pass here console.log, and then I'm say render step 1 like this. Now I do this in order to make you understand what is the dynamic components and what is the keep alive components. Now I'm going to do this. I'm gonna copy this code, and then I'm gonna put it within the step 2, and then here I'm pass you render step 2. Now within the step 1, we're gonna pass here next, and then within the second step here, I'm going to pass here another button, and for the input we're gonna say enter password and pass it enter password, and for the inputs, for the input to pass enter password, I'm going to create another button. Here we're gonna pass here previous, and this one we're gonna pass here sign in. Now I'm going to remove the BG right here, and I'm gonna remove it, but instead I'm gonna pass here, I'm gonna remove the text white, pass here, first of all, I'm gonna pass here the border, pass here border, and then border, I'm pass here indigo, and pass here 700, and then I'm gonna pass here for the text color, pass here text gray, and then I'm pass here 500 like this. And for the width right here, I'm going to pass here 48%, and then here I'm pass here 48%. Now I'm gonna pass here the class of flex to align adding this button within a row, and then I'm pass here justify between like this, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. Now I'm gonna move within the login page, and then we're going to import right here the step 1 and the step 2. Import step 1, and then we're going to import the step and pass import step 2, and here we're gonna pass here step 1, pass here step 1, and then we are going to check what we're gonna get within the browser. And I'm gonna move this window at the right. I'm gonna do this, and we're going to pass here the browser, we're gonna put it at the right. Now we are going to see right here we got this is the step 1, and if I pass here step 2, let's see what we're gonna get, and then you can see this is the step 2. Now when we are going to click on the next button, we're gonna move to the step 1. When we're gonna click on the previous button, we're gonna move to the step 2. Now what I'm gonna do right here, I'm going to do this and pass here, I'm gonna import the unmounted hook and pass it right here, and then I'm going to assign to the current reactive property that we got within the login store.js, we're gonna assign it the step 1. And I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna create a constant login store is equal to use login store like this, and then we're gonna assign the current step, the step 1 component, and then I'll pass a current step is equal to the step 1. And in order to render a given component, we are going to use the dynamic components. I'll pass here components, like this, and then we're going to pass it the is property. If is a component, we are going to render it, and then I'll pass here login store that current step like this, and then I'm pass here vbound, and then you're gonna see we're going to render the first step. Now we are going to get into within the login store, and in here I'm gonna create 2 reactive property. The first one is the step 1. Step 1 is equal to ref, and I can just assign it step 1, and then here I'm gonna assign it and I'm pass here current step like this, and I'm gonna duplicate that, and then I'm pass here step 2 like this, and right here step 2. Now I'm gonna create 2 functions. The first one is the next function. When we're going to call this function, we're gonna move to step 1, and then I'm gonna do this current step that value is equal to the step 1, that value like this, and then I'm going to duplicate it, and we are going to create another function which is the previous, and the current state that value is equal to step 2 like this. Then we're going to pass the next function and the previous function to the return statement like this. Now we're going to get into the login page, and then in here I'm going to do this login store. We're going to pass here login store that step 1. Yeah, I'm going to pass here step 1 like this is equal to step 1 like this. Yeah, is equal to the step 1 component. And then here I'm going to copy it again, and then I'm say step 2 is equal to the step 2 components. Now we're going to get into within the step 1 the view file, and then we are going to call the next button. And then in here we're gonna import, we are gonna do this const login store, and then in here guys I'm going to import the login store, use login store, and then we are going to do this on click button like this, that's next function. We're going to call the next function, and then we're going to get into within this, and then we're going to get into within the step 2. We're going to import the login store. Login store is equal to use login store, and in here on click, when we are going to click on the previous button right here, I'll pass here on click, we are going to pass here login store that's previous like this. Now let's see what we're gonna get right here. I'm gonna click on the next button. You can see we're going to move to the next step. You're gonna see what we're gonna get. I'm gonna refresh the page. Now let's give it a shot. I'm gonna click on the next button, and then you can see that I actually just render anything right here. We don't render component. Now it seems we made a mistake inside the login store. You can see we pass here the step 1 instead of the step 2, and here we should pass here the step 1, because when we're gonna call the next function, we are going to move to the second step, and when we are going to call the previous function, we're gonna move to the first step. And also we should pass the step 1 and the step 2 reactive property to the return statements. And then I'll pass here the step 2, and then I'm gonna click on the next button. I'm gonna refresh first, and then you're gonna see what we're gonna get. And right here I'm gonna click next, and then we're gonna move to the second step. Now let me explain you what is the difference between the dynamic components and the keep alive components. And in here I'm going to click on previous. You can see we console something within the console tab, render step 1. I'm gonna click next, render step 2. Yeah, you can see that actually every time we are visiting a given component, we are re-rendering again and again, and this compromises the performance. How can we improve the performance? We are going to use the keep alive component, which is a view built-in component that is going to cache a given component. Now I'm going to get into within the login page, and I'm going to wrap the dynamic component inside the keep alive components so that we are not going to re-render it again. And I'm not do this, I'm passing keep alive like this, and then we are going to pass it here. And let's try this again. I'm not click previous. Yeah, we just render the first step. I'm not click next. We just render. We don't render it again, guys, because we already rendered it. Now I'm not click again previous. You can see we don't got the message again, because the keep alive component has already cached these components. And if I move to the next button, I'll click next, and I'm click next button, and you can see that actually we don't render the second step again. And this is how we can use the keep alive component in order to cache a given component. Alright guys, now we're gonna design the sign up page, because we already finished with the login page and pass the sign up. And then we're gonna get empty right here. We haven't yet put in anything on the sign up page. I'm going to get into within the all folder, and right here I'm gonna rename the step 1 is step 1 login, and for the step 2 I'm gonna rename it step 2 login like this. And we are going to do the same thing for the sign up page. I'm going to do this within the sign up folder right here. I'm not creating the step 1, and then I'm gonna name it sign up the view, and I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna create a step 2 Yeah, I'm gonna create a step 2, and then I'm gonna name it step 2, the sign up the view. And I'm gonna get into the step 1 login the view file. I'm gonna copy this content, and then I'm gonna put it within the step 1 sign up the view file, like this. And then I'm going to do this. I'm gonna get into within the step 2, and here step 2, I'm gonna copy the content. I'm gonna put it within the step 2. Yeah, like this. Now we're going to create another opinion store for the sign up page. And then here, I'm going to do this. You can see we got the login store.js. I'm going to put it within the off folder. I'm going to create right here off, and then I'm going to import the login store.js inside the off folder. And then I'm going to create within the off folder, I'm not creating another file, another store. I'm going to name it sign up store. Yeah, sign up store.js. Yeah, sign up store.js. And then I'm gonna copy the content inside the login store.js, and then I'm gonna put it within the sign up store.js, like this. And then we're going to change the name of the opinion store. Right here, you're gonna say use sign up store, like this. And then here I'm passing sign up store, like this. And then right here we have the current step, the step 1 and step 2. And we're going to stay with these functions and react it properly. Now I'm going to get into within the step 1 sign up the view file, and then we're going to use this opinion store. We're gonna name it sign up store is equal to use sign up store. Yeah, like this. And then we are going to get access to the next function, and we're going to do the same thing within the step 2 sign up the view file. And here I'm gonna get rid of the login store, and here we're gonna create a constant sign up store, like this is equal to the use sign up store. Yeah, like this. And everything is good right here. And I'm gonna copy the sign up store, and then I'll pass it here. We're going to get into within the login page, the view file. I'm gonna copy the content, and then I'm gonna put it within the sign up page right here. And the first thing that we're gonna do right here, we're going to change the title is sign in and pass here sign up. And then for the step 1 and the step 2, we are going to import them from the sign up page. I'm gonna get rid of the login store. I'm gonna remove that. And then in here, we are going to do this import step 1. Yeah, we're gonna import the step 1 sign up, and we're gonna import the step 2 sign up. Import step 2 sign up the view, yeah, like this. And then we are going to import the sign up store, yeah, sign up, and pass here sign up store, like this is equal to use sign up store. And then we're going to get access to this property, and then we are going to do this. Now we are going to assign now we're going to assign the step 1. Now we're going to assign the step 1. Now we're going to assign the step 1 reactive property, the step 1 sign up the view file, pass it here, and I'm going to copy this and pass it here. And then we are going to get access to the next button. I'm going to pass it here. We're going to pass here first the sign up store, and everything is okay so far. Now we're going to try this inside the browser, and then let's give it a shot and see what we're going to get. I'm gonna refresh the sign up page, and then right here we got sign up, and we don't got the component right here. Let me check again. We got everything is okay right here. We pass here the keep alive, the sign up store, and then here we just imported the step 1 sign up from the sign up folder, and like this. Yeah, I'm gonna check step 1 sign up the view file and the step 2 sign up the view file. And actually everything is okay. Now we need to check within the sign up store. Yeah, everything is okay right here. And now I'm going to refresh the page again and see what we're gonna get. And then right here we don't render anything. I'm going to go back within, we're gonna go back within the sign up page, and then we're gonna check right here. We do sign up store that current is equal to the step 1, like this. And then we're going to render the step 1. I'm gonna refresh the page. You can see we got the sign up page, and right here enter email. I'm gonna click on next button. can see int password, and we are going to add another step, which is going to be the step 3. Now let's create the step 3. For the step 3, the user is going to enter the verification code of his email address. We're going to get into within the sign up folder, and in here we're going to pass here step 3. I'm pass here step 3 sign up, and then the view file, and then I'm gonna get into within the step 2. I'm gonna copy the content, I'm gonna put it within the step 3, and in here we're going to pass here, right now we're gonna pass here sign up, and then here we're going to go back within the step 2. We're going to pass here next, we're gonna pass here next for the label of this button, and then we're going to get into within the sign up store. And now we're going to create another function right here. We're going to say next, previous, and then I'm going to say move step 1, move step 2. Move step 1, I'm going to change the name of the function, move step 2, and then I'm going to create another one. I'm going to say move step 3. Yeah, like this, step 3. And right here for the step 3, we are going to pass here the step 2. We're going to go back to the step 2. And then I'm going to create another reactive property. I'm going to name it step 3. And then we're going to pass it to the return statement like this. And then we're going to get into within, we're going to get into within the sign up page. And then we're going to get access to the step 3. And I'm going to import first the step 3, import step 3. I'm going to import it. And then we're going to do this. We're going to do step 3. Login the sign up store that step 3 is equal to the step 3 sign up components, and then we're going to pass it here. Now we're going to get into within the step 1 sign up, and then in here we're going to pass here move step 1. For the function we're going to pass here move step 1, and here we should pass here move step 1, and here move step 2. And then we're going to pass also move step 3 like this. And then we're going to get into, we're going to go back within the step 1. And then here we're going to pass here move step 1. And then I'm going to copy the code. We're going to get into within the second step. Here we're going to pass here, move step 2. Yeah, we're going to pass here move step 1. And here we're going to pass here move step 3. Pass here move step 3. And within the step 3, we are going to do this right here. We're going to pass here move step 2. We're going to pass here move step 2. And here we're going to, like this, we are going to go back to the second step. Now let's try this. And then we're going to see what we're going to get inside the right. Let's give it a shot. And then I'm going to refresh the page. And then right now I'm going to click next. We move to the second step. Next, we don't render the first step. Let me see why. We are going to go back within the sign up page, and then here we are going to do this step 3. Step 3, and then here we are going to do this within the move step 3 function. We are going to assign it. We're gonna assign it the step 3. Current state that value is equal to the step 3 instead of the step 2. And then let's see again. I'm gonna click again step next, and then here next, and I'm gonna refresh the page. I'm gonna pass here next, and then next here we got right here sign up. And for the step 3, I'm going to change the name of the input. We're going to pass here enter code, and here we are going to pass here enter code like this to show the difference. And then we're gonna see enter code. We run the step 3. Previous, on previous we are going to move to the step 2, and then here on step 2, like this. And let me check within the sign up store again, and here we're going to pass here this step 2, like this. Now we're going to use auto module replacement in order to refresh automatically our Pinner store. Now we are going to use auto module replacement. Auto module replacement allows to update a Pinner store every time we made a change inside a Pinner store. And in here we're gonna pass here we're gonna pass import method .auth, and then we are going to get in if this Pinner store exists. We are going to update it automatically. and then I'm pass here import meta.auth.accept, and then we are going to import the accept auth module replacement auth module update function from Pineer, and then we're gonna pass it the name of the Pineer store. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna import it first. I'm gonna pass it here, and then we're going to pass it the name of the Pineer store, and the name of the Pineer store is use signup store. I'm gonna pass it here, yeah, right here, and then I'm gonna pass here the path import meta.auth like this. And then every time we made a change inside a Pineer store, we are going to update it immediately without refreshing the web page. Now I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna put it within the login page, and like this. And right here, we're gonna pass the name of the Pineer store, which is the use login page. I'm gonna pass it here, and there we go. And now we are going to try this. I'm gonna refresh the page, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. I'm gonna click right here, next. We move to the second step, next. Yeah, we're on the third step right here, enter code. Now I'm going to create right here a link under the sign up form. I'm gonna get into the sign up page, and right here I'm gonna create right here div, and then the class of flex, and here I'm gonna pass here writer link like this, and I'm gonna pass here sign in. And right here, I'm gonna pass here the class of font medium, and yeah, font medium like this. I'm gonna pass here over. We're going to underline this. We are going to underline the sign in, and then I'm pass here to. We are going to move to the login page and pass here login, and then let's see what we're gonna get. Yeah, I'm gonna click on right here. I'm gonna click on next button. Yeah, on sign in. And then it doesn't work. Let me check within the console. We got right here, and yeah, we got another accept auth module replacement update is not defined inside the login store.js. We're gonna import it right here. I'm gonna get into within the login store, and we're going to import the accept auth module replacement. We're going to pass it. We're gonna import it from Pineer, and then I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna click sign in. I'm gonna refresh first the page. And then we are going to move to the login page, you can see, and I'm gonna copy this link. I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna pass it within the login page. Yeah, we got it within the sign up page, and I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm pass it within the login page under the keep alive components. And right here, we're gonna pass here sign up like this, and then we're going to move to this. We're gonna pass here sign up like this. Yeah, sign up. Yeah, right here, if I click right here, sign in, we move to the sign in page. Sign up, we're gonna move to the sign up page. Alright guys, now I'm gonna start designing the dashboard. You can see that actually we already finished designing the sign up page. If the user land on this page, can enter his email, the password, and then we're going to send him a verification code so that we can validate his email address. In our case, we are going to use Maildev for testing purposes. Now for the dashboard, we are going to implement some menu. We're gonna create some menus like the home page, cars, traverse, payment, and logout. And then we're going to start interacting with our Laravel API. First of all, we're going to get into right here within the source folder. We're going to creating a component folder and pass a component. And then inside the component folder, guys, we're going to create another folder. We're going to name it icons. And right here, we're going to put in all our icons. So we're going to go at heroicons.com. And then in here, I'm gonna look some icon like home, and then I'm gonna copy it. We're gonna put it inside the icon folder, and then I'm pass here home icon, the view. Yeah, I'm gonna do this home icon, the view file, and then we're going to pass here the template tag. Yeah, like this. And then we are going to, for the width, for the size, we're gonna pass here 4. And then I'm gonna create another icon. I'm gonna name it logout and pass here logout. Yeah, logout icon, the view. And we are going to move to hero icons again. And then here I'm pass here logout. Pass here logout. I'm gonna copy this icon, and then I'm passing within the logout icon, the view. Pass here template. Yeah, like this. We're gonna pass here template, and then we're gonna pass here the icon. And then I'm gonna look for the last icon. Let me check. I'm gonna look for the payment icon. Pass here payments. And then I'm gonna copy this icon right here. And then I'm gonna create another icon. I'm gonna name it payment icon view. We're gonna pass in the template tag, and then we're gonna put in the SVG tag. And here I'm gonna modify the size and pass it the class of 4. Now we are going to create another folder. You can see right here we got the admin folder. I'm gonna put in the dashboard and pass it dashboard page. Yeah, I'm passing dashboard page view, and then we're gonna pass in the template tag and pass here the template tag. And inside the admin folder, I'm not creating the component folder where we're gonna put in all component related to the dashboard page. And here I'm not creating the first component. We're gonna name it sidebar view, and we're going to import the sidebar view inside the dashboard page. Pass here import sidebar, and then we are going to pass here a div tag and pass here the class of flex. And then I'm gonna pass here this sidebar like this. Now we're gonna move inside the sidebar view file. In here, we're gonna pass here the template tag, and then I'm passing the div. We're going to pass here the class of hfull in order to hscreen in order to take up the full width of the screen. And inside this div, I'm passing the class of hfull in order to take up the full width inside the container. And in here, I'm gonna pass here the nav tag. I'm gonna pass in another div, and inside the div right here, we're gonna pass here. First of all, I'm passing the image. We are going to render the logo, and also I'm gonna pass here the button, and we're going to put in right here an icon. I'm gonna pass here. We're gonna pass here we are going to pass here this type of icon. I'm gonna move to hero icons, and then I'm gonna look for another right here. And then we're going to use it in order to show up, in order to increase the width of our menu and to decrease it. And I'm going to look for an arrow right here. Yeah, I'm gonna copy that. I'm going to, I'm gonna pass here arrow and pass here chevron. Let me check. I'm passing chevron, and then here we're going to copy this icon, and then we are going to put in within the icons folder. And I'm gonna name it chevron icon, chevron icon view, and then I'm passing template tag, and we are going to pass here the size of 4. Now we are going to go back within the sidebar view file, and then right here I'm not passing empty, I'm passing even a C like this, and then I'm gonna put in the contents later. And right here we're going to pass here under the div tag, we're gonna pass here a UL tag, and inside the UL tag and under the div tag, I'm passing a UL tag. We're gonna put in our menu. I'm passing first home, and then I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm passing payment, and then we're going to pass here an HR. And after the HR, we're gonna pass in another menu. We're gonna name it logout, and then here I'm passing here logout. Now we're going to get into the router, and then we're going to register the dashboard page in order to see what we are going to do. And I'm going to get into with the index.js file. I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna pass it here. We're going to pass it dashboard, and then I'm pass it as the name like this, and then we're going to get into within the admin folder / dashboard page view, and then we're going to check this inside the browser. Let's give it a shot. And then I'm passing dashboard, and then you can see that I actually got our menu right here. Now we are going to add some. Now guys, let's make this menu looks beautiful. We are going to pass to the nav tag and pass here the class of bgslate 200, and then with a width of 210 pixel, and pass it 210 pixel. And then you can see we got the bgslate. I'm going to pass to the second div, the div inside the nav tag, and pass here the class of flex, and then like this. And then I'm going to pass here the image. We got an image within the public folder. I'm pass here for the script tag, and then I'm pass here setup, and we are going to import the app object from the API.js file. and then I'm gonna import it. Yeah, this is the object, and then we're going to use the object in order to get access to the image. And pass here app.base0 plus and then /image folder /logo.png, and then we got an image of a taxi, and I'm pass here for the alt logo, and I'm gonna pass here a class. We're going to pass here a class, and then we're going to pass here the width. We're going to define a width for our logo, and then I'm pass here 10. Now for the button right here, I'm going to import the chevron icon. Import, and then here I'm pass here chevron icon, and then I'm pass here chevron. Yeah, we're gonna pass here the chevron icon /, and then we're going to display the chevron icon. You can see we got it right here. Now I'm gonna pass here another class and then justify between, and then we're going to add a space between the image tag and the button, and I'm gonna pass here a gap of two, and then we're going to add a space and pass here the padding, and pass the padding free. Now what I'm gonna do next, I'm going to increase the width of the BG slate. And in order to do so, we are going to pass the hfull class to the nav tag. I'm gonna pass it here, and then we're gonna get rid of the Steve like this, and then we're going to take up the full width. Now I'm going to get into, again, we got right here the UL tag, and for the UL tag, I'm passing the class of flex and then flex score in order to align RM within a column, and I'm passing the gap. I pass the gap of 2. We're gonna add a space and pass here even the padding. Yeah, I'm passing the padding too. Yeah, like this. And then we're going to add a little padding. Now I'm going to pass some classes to the li tag. For the li tag, I'm going to pass here BG slate, and then here I'm going to pass here BG slate 200, and here I'm going to increase, I'm not decrease right here, I'm pass here 100, and then like this, I'm pass here BG slate 50, and then here I'm pass here I'm gonna pass here 200, and I'm going to pass here the padding in x-axis and the padding in y-axis too, and I'm gonna pass here a border rounded MD like this. MD, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. We got a border right here, and for now we are going to import the home icon. I'm gonna pass here import home icon, and then we're going to pass here home icon, and then we're going to pass it the class of we're gonna pass imagine tab 1, and then we are going to add a gap between the icon and the home, and here I'm passing the gap of 2 like this, and here we just added the gap. And what I'm gonna do next, I'm going to import the icon for the payment li tag and for the logout li tag, and I'm gonna copy this li tag. I'm gonna pass it right here and here too, and right here we're gonna pass here payments, and here I'm pass here logout. And here we're gonna pass here the hover variant for the logout li tag, and for the payments li tag and pass here hover variants. And we are going to import the payment icon, and we're going to import also the logout icon, and pass here import and pass here payments, and also I'm gonna import here the logout, yeah, like this. And I'm gonna copy the payment icon, I'm gonna pass it here, and also the logout icon and pass it here too. Right now guys, we're going to add another class to the li tag. We're going to pass here the cursor pointer in order to change the mouse type when we are going to over, and pass here cursor pointer like this, and then I'm gonna copy it, I'm gonna pass it to the third li tag. And we are going to work on the button right here, and we're going to change the size of our sidebar. I'm going to pass here the class, we're gonna pass it the class of BG slate 200, and here I'm passing padding in x-axis, and I'm passing the rounded MD, and like this. Now I'm going to pass here the over variant, and then rounded MD, and then you can see that actually when we put our cursor over the button, we just apply a BG slate. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a reactive property and pass it toggle sidebar is equal to ref, and we're going to assign it false. I'm going to create a function and we're going to name it toggle, and when we're going to call this function, we are going to change the size of our sidebar. And here I'm passing, we're going to pass here the toggle sidebar reactive property that value is equal to difference to the toggle reactive property, that value like this. And then we are going to call this function when we are going to click on the button right here. And here I'm going to pass here toggle like this. And then here for the class right here, you can see we got right here the first li tag, which is the home, and we have here the name is home. I'm going to wrap the name home inside a span tag, as well as for the payment and for the logout. I'm going to pass here the span tag. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to check if we're going to pass here visual, and then we're going to check if the toggle sidebar reactive property is equal to true, and pass here toggle sidebar is equal to true. We are going to pass here false. Is equal to true, we are going to show up the home label, else we are going to hide it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to pass it to the second li tag and to the third li tag. And then here we are going to pass here, we're going to pass it to the third li tag. And for the third li tag, we are displaying the logout. And I'm going to check, I'm going to refresh the page, and then we're going to see what we're going to get. We add it. And then here I'm going to decrease also the size, the width of the sidebar. And you can see the default width is 210 pixels. And here I'm going to pass here, we are going to pass vbound to the class attributes. And then we're going to wrap all the class inside a single quotes. And here I'm going to do this. I'm going to add right here plus. And then I'm going to pass here the toggle sidebar reactive property. And then we're going to check if the value is equal to true. We are going to pass here the width of 210 pixels. And then here I'm going to do this, else we are going to pass here the width of 200. I'm going to do this width. And here we're going to pass here 210 pixels like this, and else we are not going to pass it. Now we are going to check again. I'm going to refresh the page, and also I'm going to pass it. I'm going to hide the logo. I'm going to copy the visual, and I'm going to pass it to the image tag, and I'm going to pass it here, and then we're going to see what we're going to get. And right now I'm going to refresh the page. And then you can see that actually we just hide right here, even the image tag. And then if I click, we show up everything. And there we go. Everything is okay so far. And right here, BG slates, right here, we pass here 50. And then I'm not remove that right here. And then I'm pass here the width like this. I'm gonna pass it here and like this. But actually we don't show the BG of the sidebar. And I'm gonna fix something right here. We are going to change also this icon right here. We need to select another, we are going to pass here another icon, which is the chevron right. You can see I'm gonna move to heroicons.com, and I'm gonna copy this icon right here. This is the chevron left that we got right here. We are going to copy another icon, which is the chevron right. And I'm going to copy this one. And I'm going to copy it. And then we're going to get into the icons folder. We are going to rename it. And right here, we got the chevron icon left. I'm not renaming chevron icon left right here like this. And then we're going to create another icon. We're going to pass here chevron icon. Chevron icon right like this, the view file. And then here I'm pass a template tag, and then here this SVG tag. Now we're going to get into within the sidebar view again, and we're going to import it and pass it import chevron right icon. and then we are going to pass it right here. We are going to pass it here, guys. When we are going to, you can see we got right here. Do this. I'm going to pass it here, the chevron right icon, and then I'm gonna wrap these two icons inside and pass here even if in order to display one of them. And I'm going to copy the tag sidebar reactive property, and then I'll pass here if, and then we're going to pass here else like this. Now let's give it a shot. We are going to check if the menu works pretty well, and here I'm going to tag. I'm gonna click on the button right here. You can see that actually we are able to reduce the size of our sidebar, but we have a problem right here on the chevron right. We don't have a padding. And also we're going to pull back the BG slate. We just removed it. And we have removed it, and we are going to add it again. And then here I'm going to pass here. Right now I'm going to pass here a single quote. And I'm going to remove that, and I'll pass here back ticket instead of the single quotes. And then here we're going to pass here our tag. We're going to pass here the tag of sidebar, and then here we're going to pass here single quotes. We're going to pass here the tag. We're going to pass here the class, or we're going to pass here the width of 210 pixels. Else we are going to pass here empty like this. And also, guys, we're going to remove the true false. We're going to pass just tag or sidebar reactive property to the visual directive instead of passing here a 10 array operator. I'm going to remove that here, and here too we're going to remove that, and for the fade elite tag like this. And also right here we are going to add a padding. I'm going to duplicate this button. And here I'm not do this. We are going to remove right here the chevron icon, and here we're gonna pass here. You can see you got right here the chevron left and the chevron right. And I'm gonna pass here. You got right here the chevron right. We got the chevron icon right and the chevron icon left. And I'm gonna pass it here like this. And we're going to pass here the chevron icon left here. And right here I'm passing visual, I'm passing here viv, and then we're gonna pass here the tag or sidebar reactive property, and we are going to remove it here, and then here else we are going to show up the second button. For the second button, we're going to add the padding in axis, and then we're gonna check again here. I think everything is okay right now. Now we're gonna go back inside the browser, and then you can see that actually everything is working pretty well, but we don't show up right here the icon, and we are going to fix that again. We pass here the chevron right, and here we pass here chevron right icon. We just pass it right here, and then I'm going to check again. We are going to check again, guys. We're going to check again. I'm gonna click right here. I'm gonna refresh the page. And then we're gonna see, yeah, it works pretty well. You can see that actually everything is working pretty well. Now we're going to add right here the navbar, and we're going to add in an avatar in order to see the name and email of the person who's logged in. Also, I'm gonna change the color right here for the fade elite tag. We are going to pass here the text red, and here I'm passing here text red. I'm gonna pass here text red 600 for the logout button like this. And when the user is gonna click on this button, we are going to log them out of the system. Alright guys, now let's design the top navbar. Inside the top navbar, we're going to put in an avatar. When the user is gonna click on the avatar, we are going to pop up a small menu. Now here, I'm gonna pass here the class of div. I'm gonna pass here first a comment, main section. And inside the main section is where we're going to put in the top navbar. And also inside the main section, we're going to put in tables. And right here, first of all, I'm passing you div and a class. We're going to pass here class is equal to bg slate 200. And then we're going to take up the full width in x-axis. And here you can see we just apply the bg. And pass here another div, the class right here, we're gonna pass here flex, and then we're gonna pass justify, and we are justify between. We are going to add a space between divs. Now I'm gonna pass here the first div, And then I'm gonna create another div. Right here is where we're gonna put in the avatar. And I'm gonna pass here the class of padding in y-axis and pass here free, padding in x-axis and pass here free. Now we're gonna pass here the image tag and pass here the image tag. And then we're going to look up for an image within the public folder. And pass here the app object that, and pass the app object that's base URL, and then /image /avatar, and pass the avatar.web.p file. And then you can see we just display the avatar for the alt attribute and pass here logo. And for the class, and pass here rounded full. And then for the width, we're gonna pass here 10, and the height, we're gonna pass here 10 too. And then you're gonna see we have our avatar at the top right corner. And then here, I'm going to add here another section where we're gonna put in tables. And I'm gonna pass here another div. And here I'm gonna pass here the class of flex like this. And then I'm gonna pass here the padding, a p tag, and then I'm pass here a text, lorem ipsum. Like this, we got the text. And then for the div, I'm pass here padding 10. Like this. Now we are going to add this menu. When we are going to put our case over the avatar, when we're going to click on it, we are going to pop up that small menu. We are inside a small menu, we are going to display the name of the users logged in and the email. And here, I'm going to do this right here under the image tag. I'm passing a UL tag. And inside the UL tag, I'm passing two li tags. And here, right now, I'm passing you the name. We're gonna pass you Ben. And then inside, for the second li tag, we're gonna pass you the email. And then we're gonna pass you ben@gmail.com like this. And for the fed, I'm gonna create a fed li tag where we're gonna put in logout. Yeah, like this, logout. I'm passing logout like this. When we're going to click on the fed li tag, we're going to log out the user out of the system like this. Now for the image tag, I'm gonna add another class to it. We're gonna pass here the cursor pointer, and then we are going to pass to the UL tag the bg white, and then I'm pass here absolute, and we are going to add a margin and right here like this. Yeah, you can see we just added the margin at the right. If I remove right 4, we are going to have an overflow. You can see we have it. Now we're going to add a margin at the right. Now we are going to pass here the padding in y-axis free, padding in x-axis, and pass here free, and like this, rounded empty, and then we're going to pass a box shadow LG class. And like this, guys, now we're going to add a line between the li tags and pass here divide y like this, and then divide gray for the color of the line free and pass here 200 instead of 300 like this. And then we're going to, I'm gonna copy the enc tag and pass it to inside the second li tag, and I'm pass here break tag, and then I'm pass it there. Now for the li tag, we're gonna pass here the class, and then padding in y-axis and pass here 2, padding in x-axis and pass here 2, and like this. And now we are going to pass the same class to the second li tag, and here I'm gonna pass it here, and here I'm pass here the class of hover bg gray 100. Yeah, like this, rounded MD, and then I'm gonna pass here another class which is the cursor pointer. I pass here cursor, and then I'm pass here pointer. Now let's see what we're gonna get. Right here, if I put a cursor over the second li tag, you can see we got right here a hand. For the text, I'm gonna pass here text red, and then I'm gonna choose here 600, and then font semi-bold like this. Yeah, you can see we just pass here, we just change the color of the second li tag. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now for the enc tag, I'm pass here the class, and then for the color of text, I'm pass here text, and pass here indigo, and then here I'm pass here 700. Now let's see what we're gonna get. Yeah, you can see it's beautiful. Now for the UL tag, I'm gonna pass it right here a directive visual, and then if I pass it the class of false, we are going to hide up the UL tag. Now what we are going to do, guys, I'm going to create a reactive property, and then
a reactive property, and then we're going to create another function. When we're going to be clicking up on the avatar, we are going to show up the menu. Now, I'm going to create right here another reactive property. I'm going to pass here menu. I'm pass here nav bar menu. I'm pass here top nav. We're going to pass here top nav bar menu like this. And then we're going to create another function right here. I'm going to name it toggle top nav bar. And then we are going to toggle this reactive property. We're going to change the value of the reactive property. And then we're going to call this function. We're going to pass it to the avatar. And then on click. And then when we're going to click on the avatar, we are going to show up the menu. In order to do so, we are going to copy first the top nav bar menu reactive property, and then we're going to pass it to the visual directive. We're going to pass it here. And then if I click on the avatar right here, you're going to see we show up the UL tag. And then I'm going to increase the width of the UL tag here. We are going to pass you the class of width here. And then I pass it 250 pixel. And then for the avatar, I'm gonna pass here the class of border, and then hover border, I'm gonna pass here white like this. Yeah, I'm pass here hover variant and then border white. And then if we put our cursor again over the avatar, you can see that I actually just applied a white border. Now guys, you can see that actually if I click on the avatar, we can pop up the menu and then we can hide it again. Now, let's say we want to add another menu right here. I'm not getting to within the sidebar, the view. And in here, I'm going to duplicate the li tag and pass it here. And then we're going to name it the menu users. Yeah, like this. And then we're going to go to here icons.com. We're going to look for an icon. I'm going to copy this one, and then we are going to put it within the icons folder. I'm going to name it users icon.vue. And in here, we're going to pass here first the template tag, and then we're going to change right here the size. Now, in order to use this icon, we need to import it inside the sidebar view. And then I'm passing import users icon, and then we're going to pass there. And to pass it to the li tag, we're going to pass here users icon. And then if we get into the browser, we're going to see we're going to have it right here. We got the users icon. And then guys, you can see that this process is embarrassing. Now, how can we make this process easy? We are going to get into within the app.vue. And then in here, we are going to create a function that is going to import automatically an icon from the icons folder. And then here, I'm going to create a constant import icons. And then I'm going to use imports. I'm going to pass here import.mirror.globe. I'm going to pass here that globe. We are going to get into within the source folder. And then we're going to get into within the component folder /that/all/. And then here, we are going to select all icons located within the icons folder. And here I'm passing here icons. You can see that we got an object of files here, guys. These are our icons located within the icons folder. Now we are going to pass one by one component to the Vue instance. And in order to do so, we're going to iterate through these objects. We are going to go back within the app.js, and I'm going to create a function right here, function register components. We're going to name it components because we can use it in order to register other components. Register components like this, and pass your components. I'm going to pass the Vue instance. And then here, we are going to do this. I'm going to pass here const right here. We are going to pass here, the for loop, and then we're going to pass here const file path, pass here file path like this of import icons. We're going to pass here object.keys, and then we are going to pass here import icons objects. And then we are going to console the file path, pass here file path. And then if we get into the console, right now we're going to call the register icons component function and pass here register components, and then I'm pass here the app. and then we're gonna see what we're gonna get right here. You can see that actually we got a string right here. Now we are going to extract the name of the components. Let's say we need to extract the name of this component right here. I'm gonna copy it. You can see that it is a string. And then I'm gonna create a string here. I'm gonna assign it here. I'm gonna assign it this component, and we are going to extract the name. First of all, we are going to convert this line into an array, and then we are going to extract the name. This is what we're gonna do. We are going to pass here split. We're gonna pass here string, and then we're gonna pass here split like this. We are going to pass here slash, and then we are going to convert it into an array. And then we are going to pass here that pap. We are going to select the lattice item right here, which is the chevron icon, right? And this is the name of the icon. And then we're going to pass here pap like this. And then we're going to select it. We got it. And then we're going to use another function, which is the replace function. We'll pass here function. And then we're going to pass here that view. We're going to replace it. And then we're going to have the name of the icons. Yeah, we're gonna pass here that view. We're gonna replace it with empty like this, and then you can see that actually we got the name of the icon. I'm gonna copy this, and then we're going to get into within the app.js. I'm gonna create right here. We're gonna pass here components. Yeah, components name like this is equal to this. We're gonna pass here the file path because it's a string. Now we're going to pass this component one by one to the Vue instance, and in here we are going to pass here import icon, and then we're gonna pass here file path, and we are going to call a function. This function is a promise, and then I'll pass here function. We're gonna pass here that data, which is the name of the components. And then in here, we are going to do this. We're going to pass here app.components. The app here is our Vue instance that we pass as a parameter to the register component function. And then we're going to pass here components like this. And then we're going to pass here, first of all, we're going to pass here the file name, which is the component name variable. And then we are going to pass here that data, that default. Yeah, I'm passing here that default. And then we are going to import the icon. Now I'm going to catch an error. In case we get an error, we are going to catch it. And then here I'm pass here error is equal. And then we're going to pass here is equal to console.log. And then we're going to pass here error that message like this. Yeah, we're going to pass here error that message. Now we are going to try to check if we're going to import automatically all our icons or components that we're going to put inside the component folder. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass here this, I'm going to get into the browser, and then I'm going to refresh to see if we don't get any error. We don't got any error, guys. Now we are going to get into within the sidebar, the Vue file. And in here, I'm going to get rid of this import lines right here, and then you can see if I refresh the page, you're gonna see that actually we just imported all these icons automatically. Alright guys, now we're gonna start with the user model. We are going to create endpoint for the user model, and the user model we're gonna pass it the name, email, password, Google ID is valid email, and there are for the role we're gonna have 3 roles: the driver, admin, and the customer. And if move to the sign up page, you can see we got 3 fields right here. I'm going to refresh the page. We got the email, and then we got the password, and then the code. Right here, we are going to send the verification code to the user email address. And then once the user enter this email, we're going to validate if his email is valid. Now we are going to add another field right here later on. Now we are going to create here the user model. We are going to add these fields inside the user model. And then here, I'm going to get into first within the migrations folder. And then here, by default, when we install brand new Laravel projects, we got this migration, the user migration. I'm going to pass this data right here as reference. And then I'm going to comment it in order to avoid errors. Now, we're going to say we're going to have the name, email, and then we have right here, we're going to add the password. And then I'm going to copy this line here. We're going to pass here the password like this. And then we're going to create another field, which is the Google ID. You're going to say it's going to be nullable. and then I'm passing you Google ID like this. And we have the Google ID, and we are going to create another field, which is the is valid email column, and then we're going to pass it a default value of 0. Yeah, I'm going to do this. We are going to pass here 0. And also we're going to create another field right here, which is the row. We're going to say the row is going to be nullable like this. And then we can check everything is correct. Now we're going to get into the console, guys, and then we're going to map these migrations inside our database. And then I'm not getting to the console. We're going to type here PHP artisan migrate, and then I'm pass here refresh like this, and then I'm tap inner, and here I'm gonna create a controller, and then I'm tap PHP artisan make controller, and then off/controller. We're gonna pass here off controller like this, and then I'm gonna tap inner. You can see actually within the controllers folder we don't got any controller here, and then I'm gonna tap inner in order to create the controller. Now guys, we are going to get into within the user model. And then in here, we're going to pass here fillable column. We got the name, email, password, and also I'm gonna create some constants right here, like is valid email. We're gonna assign it the value of 1, and then I'm gonna create other constants right here, like roles, and then I'm passing admin. This admin, I'm passing admin row, and then I'm gonna pass here is equal to admin, like this. Add and pass here admin like this, and then I'm going to duplicate it 3 times. We are going to create the second row, which is the customer. We're going to pass here customer row, and also we are going to pass here with another row, which is the driver row, and then here pass here driver, and here we're going to pass here customer like this, and then I'm going to get it off this. And that's cool, guys. Now we're going to move inside the off controller, and then we're going to create in a function. Now we're going to get into the off folder, controllers folder, and then within the off controller, we're going to create right here a function. Pass here public function, register, and then we're going to pass it the request class, and like this, we are going to validate. We are going to request for fields. We're going to pass here request or in order to request for fields sent by the user, and then we are going to run the validation against these fields. We are going to check if these fields meets our requirements, and then here we're going to pass here errors, and then we're going to use the validator class. We're going to import validator, and then I'm going to pass here validator, and then we're going to pass here make. We're going to pass the fields and that we want to make the value that we want to run the validation against, and then we're going to pass here an array. Now we are going to request for the name, and then we're going to say the name is going to be required, yeah, like this, and then I'm going to duplicate it 3 times. We're going to pass here the password, and then we're going to pass here the email. And for the email right here, we're gonna say the type of the email must be an email. I'm passing an email, and also the email must be unique. I'm gonna copy the # and pass it here. Then I'm passing unique, and then we're gonna pass here like this. We're gonna pass here email, and then we're gonna pass here the users table. This is how we are going to say that we want the email to be required, must be a type of email, and the email must be unique. And for the password, you can say the max length of the password. We are going to request even 6 characters for the password. And then we're going to check if the validation fails. If the validation fails, we're going to pass here errors. And pass here errors like this. And then we are going to call a function, which is fails. And then we are going to return an array of errors. And then we're going to pass a return response. And then here we're going to pass here errors. And then we are going to return an array of errors to the user in case we get an error. And we are going to pass here the status of 422 to say that this is an unprocessable entity. And then we are going to send this this array like this. This is gonna be a JSON array. Now we are going to create a user. If the validation pass, we are going to create a user. We're gonna pass a user, and then we are going to call the create method, and then we're gonna pass in the fields. We're gonna pass here the name, and then we're gonna pass here fields, and then here we're gonna pass here the name, the email, and the password. For the password, we're gonna encrypt it using the bcrypt function. Pass here bcrypt, yeah, like this, and then we're gonna pass in the password, and like this. And right now we are going to add another field, which is the email. I'm pass here, which is the is valid email, and then we are going to, I'm gonna create another field right here, is valid email, like this. And then we are going to get access to a constant. We're gonna, if you get into within the user model, you're gonna see we got a constant right here. We're going to move inside the user model, and we have a constant is valid email. The value is 1. Now I'm gonna create another constant is invalid email. We are going to assign it 0 as the value, and then we're gonna pass it is invalid. And pass is invalid. Is invalid, like this, is invalid email. And then here we are going to get access to the constant is invalid email, and then once we create a user, we're going to assign it the value of 0. Now for the second step, we're going to send a mail to the user in order to validate his email. We are going to send him a code. Right now I'm going to try to check if you are going to create a user, and then we're going to move to the second step. Now if you create a user, I'm pass here send email first. Send, I'm gonna pass here send email, and then I'm gonna just pass here a response, pass here return response, and then we're gonna pass a message, and then user, we're gonna pass here your account has been created. Yeah, it's been created successfully, and now we're gonna pass here a status of 200. And before we check, we are going to get into within the API.php file in order to create the endpoints that is gonna eat this function. We are going to get into within the API.php, and then we are going to import the auth controller and pass here roots, and then we're gonna pass here the method is pause, and then we're gonna pass here users, and then we'll pass here auth controller. Auth controller, I'm gonna import it, and then we're gonna pass here class. We're gonna do this, we're going to pass it inside an array, and then we're gonna and then for the second element, we're gonna pass here the name of the function, which is register. Now guys, let's try this inside Postman. We are going to pass here, first of all, you're gonna open Postman, you're gonna pass the base URL, and then /API/users, which is the endpoints. And then you're gonna select the XWW form URL encoded. You're gonna pass the name as the key, the email, password. Now I'm pass here John, and here for the email John, and the password I'm pass here 1 2 3 4 5 6. And then we're gonna try to check if the validation is gonna work pretty well. Now I'm gonna hit send, and then let's see what we're gonna get. You can see we got an array of errors. The password field must be greater than 6 characters. The email must be a valid email address. And then here I'm gonna pass here a valid email address, and then you can see that the validation works pretty well. And then for the password 1 2 3 4 5, and then I'm gonna pass here 6. And then we're gonna hit send again. And right here we got an error. I'm gonna get into it in the preview. And here we are going to read the message base table of not found. And then, yeah, we got right here Ubercron that email doesn't exist. This table that doesn't exist here. Let me show you where we got an error. If we get into within the auth controller, we pass here unique, and then colon email. We should pass here users. We are going to say that the email must be unique in the users table, and pass here the field with the column, which is the email. And then we're gonna try it again. I'm gonna hit send again. And then now we are going to have a message right here. Your account has been created successfully. And then you can see we got this message. We just created a user with a status of 200. Alright guys, now we're going to work on the second step, which is the sending email verification to the user. I'm gonna create right here, first of all, a variable and name it user, and then we're gonna return it. We're gonna pass it to the response function, and then we are going to return the created user. We are going to add another field to the user model, which is the OTP code. Is a code that we're gonna send to the user in order to validate its email address. We're gonna be using MailDev for testing purposes, guys. We are going to use MailDev. In order to install MailDev, you're going to tap npm install-gmaildev in order to install MailDev globally. Now, I'm going to create here a mail class php artisan make, and then I'm pass here mail, and then I'm pass here send mail, and then I'm tap enter. And also, we're going to get into within the user model. I'm going to create right here a function that we are going to use in order to generate an OTP code, which is right here. Is public is a static function, and then we're going to call it. It's going to generate a code of 6 characters. And then we are going to pass here the OTP code for the fillable attributes. And also, guys, we're going to get into within the user's migration, and we are going to add a field. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to duplicate the password field. And then we're going to copy the OTP code. We're going to pass it here. And that's pretty much it for the migration. Now we're going to get into within the mail class. In here, guys, we're going to create an attribute. We're going to name it user. We're going to pass the user model to the send email class. And here I'm passing user, and then we are going to instantiate it. Pass here user, and then we're going to pass here this, that user is equal to the user. And then here I'm passing user to tap it like this. And also we are going to import the user model. We're going to import it in order to avoid the typing error. And now we're going to move to the envelope function. Inside the envelope function, we are returning an instance of the envelope class. Now we are going to pass it another parameter to specify the sender. And the sender, in our case, is our app, which is sending the email. And then I'm passing another class, which is new address. And then we're going to pass the name of the sender. I'm passing admin@gmail.com. And then I'm passing you the name of the sender, Uberclone, which is our app. And here, I'm going to pass you the subject, which is email verification like this. And also we're going to import the address class. I'm going to import it right here from the mailable class. And then I'm passing the address. And we are going to move to the content function. The content function, you can see the content function return an instance of the content class. We are going to pass it the view, and also we're going to pass it the width parameter. The width parameter, we're going to pass it the data that we're going to send to the view file. And then here I'm going to pass it, we're going to send it the user model like this. And we are going to create a view inside the mail folder. We're going to name it email and pass you email verification like this. And then I'm going to copy the name of the file. We are going to get into within the views folder. We're going to scroll down views folder, and then I'll pass you mail. And then inside the mail folder, I'm pass here email verification.blade.php. Now we are going to put in some content. I've already prepared that. I'm going to copy that, and then I'll pass it here. And you can see it is an HTML file. And then here we pass you, I'm going to remove that here. I'm pass you the name of our app. I'll pass here an H1, and then I'll pass here Uberclone like this. And then we're going to pass here email verification, hello. And here we are going to pass here the name of the user. I'm going to do this because we are going to pass here an object. I'm going to pass you that, and then we're going to pass here the name of the user, hello. And then we are going to pass you, we have sent to you this email to check if this email, we pass you the email, and then you provide is valid. And then we're going to say enter code. And right here, I'm passing you the user code. I'm going to copy this object, and then we're going to pass here. We're going to say OTP code like this. Now we are going to get into within the auth controller, and then we're going to send an email to the user. Now we are going to pass here mail, and then we are going to call the to function. We're going to pass here the user email like this, and then pass here the email, and then we're gonna invoke the send function. We're gonna pass here send, and inside the send function we're gonna pass in the send mail class. We're gonna pass it there, and then we're gonna pass it the user model like this, and then we are going to send an email to the user like this, and then we import the mail class. Also, we are going to import the send mail class. I'm gonna import it. We are going to import it from the mail folder. I'm gonna copy this, and then we're gonna pass here app here, and then we're gonna pass here mail, and then we're gonna pass here send mail class like this. Yeah, we already imported it right here. I didn't see it. And then we are going to check. Now everything is okay, guys. Now we're gonna try to check. First of all, we are going to get into within the env file. We are going to pass here the mail port, which is 1025. And then if we type here this command maildev, this is how we run maildev locally, maildev. And you can see right here we got the SMTP port, which is 1025. And then we are going to open maildev inside the browser. I'm gonna refresh. You're gonna pass here localhost 1080. Now I'm gonna get into Postman, and then I'm gonna try to create another user. And then we're gonna see what we're gonna get right here. First of all, I'm going to type PHP artisan migrate refresh in order to refresh the migration, because we have added another field, which is the OTP code. And then here I'm going to type this command right here, PHP artisan migrate. Then I'm pass here refresh. Then I'm tap enter. And then we refresh the migration. I'm type here PHP artisan. We're going to pass here maildev. And pass here maildev like this. And then we're gonna check. Now I'm gonna get into Postman, and then I'm gonna hit send here. Send. And then you're gonna see what we're gonna get. You can see that actually we got an internal server error. The email view verification not found. And here we're going to remove the view right here. We should pass here the name of the folder, which is the mail folder. And you can see within the views folder, we created the mail folder. We should pass it right here. We're gonna get into within the same mail class, and then we're gonna pass here mail like this. And also we need to fix something here. The mail mailer, we're gonna pass here the SMTP like this. And then we're gonna try it again. Make sure your maildev is running. And then I'm gonna get into Postman again. I'm gonna pass here another email address. And here I'm pass here John. I'm pass here even, we are going to pass here another email address, ben@gmail.com. And then here I'm pass here Ben like this. And then I'm gonna hit send. And then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. And then you can see we just created a user. You can see your account has been created successfully. The name is Ben, the email, and the code that we just sent to his email address. Now we're gonna get into maildev, and then we're gonna see what we got right here. You can see that we got an email, which is uberclone and hello Ben. We sent to you this email to check if the email ben@gmail.com you provide is valid one. And also we provided the code right here. As you can see, we got the code. Now guys, we're gonna be talking about events and listeners before we create an endpoint that we're gonna use in order to validate the email address. And here we're gonna talk about events and listeners. Now you can see actually right here we got two operations right here. First of all, we created the user. Once we finish creating the user, we are dealing with an external operation, which is sending an email to the user. Now you can see these are two different operations. The first one is an internal operation, and this one is an external operation. Now we are going to queue up this external operation because sometimes it can take a lot of time in order to finish. Now we are going to create an event and listener. I'm going to get into right here. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna pass here PHP artisan make, and then I'm gonna create an event, and then I'll say send email events, and then we're gonna tap inner. We are going to create also a listener. We're gonna pass here PHP artisan make listener. Gonna pass here listener, and then send email listener. Pass here listener like this, and then I'm tap inner. Now we are going to get into we're gonna get into within the event folder, send email events, and we're gonna pass to this class the user model, and I'm pass here public. I'm pass a public user. And then we are going to pass here the user model, and then we are going to instantiate it and pass here that user. Now we are going to move within the auth controller, and then here once we finish creating the user, we are going to listen to this event, and then we are going to import it and pass here send email events, like this, and then we are going to pass here dispatch. And then we're gonna pass the user model, like this. And then we are going to move we're gonna copy this line. We're gonna put it within the send email listener, and you can see that actually just imported right here. The send email event is here. Now let's move inside the listeners folder, and then right here we're gonna pass you the event. Inside the handle is where we're gonna put in this line that allows to send an email to the user. And here we are going to pass you the class of send email. We're gonna pass your send email events, and then we're gonna pass you the event here, and here we are going to pass here the user, and then we are going, in order to get access to the email, we're gonna pass here events, and then we're gonna pass here events user email like this. And then I'm gonna copy this line, and then we're gonna pass it here to the send mail class like this. And also we're going to import two class inside the send email list. Now we're gonna import in the mail class and the send mail class. We are going to get into within the auth controller, and then we're gonna copy these two class. We're gonna pass them inside the send email list. Now I'm gonna pass it here. And pass it here. Now guys, we are going to implement the should queue interface in order to queue up this external operation. We are going to pass here implement should queue, and then here we are going inside the handle function. I'm gonna call the sleep function, and then we are going to delay the execution of this external operation. After 5 seconds, we are going to send an email verification to the user. And this is how it's gonna work, guys. First of all, we are going to create the user, and then we are going to send immediately this message: your account has been created successfully. We are not going to wait for this external operation to finish in order the user see this message. We are going to get into the command prompt, and then we're going to tap PHP artisan keyword like this, and then we're going to tap inner. Now I'm going to create another user. Right here, we're going to pass you the name here. We're going to pass here Alex, and then I'm going to pass here Alex even 12. Let's pass here, we're going to pass here Joseph like this. And then we're going to pass here joseph@gmail.com. Now let's hit send again. I'm tap send. You can see we are going to get the message immediately: your account has been created. And then if we get into mail dev, we haven't yet get the message because this process has been queued up. We are going to wait after 5 seconds. We're going to get the email. And then I'm going to try to see, we got an error right here. The send email listener failed. And then we are going to check right here why it failed, guys. We pass here $2, and then I'm gonna remove it, and then we're gonna try it again. I'm gonna rerun the queue server and pass here again PHP artisan queue work, and we are going to create a new user right here. Right now I'm gonna pass here another email address, which is Joseph12, and then I'm gonna hit send again. You're gonna see we are going to create, your account has been created. And then if you get into mail dev, you can see we haven't yet received the email address. Right now we got the email address, and we don't wait the external operation to finish in order the user see this message. And this is how we can use a queue in order to speed up process, guys. Alright guys, now we're gonna work on the verify email endpoint because we already finished creating the user. The goal right here is to validate the user email. Now we are going to send to input the email and the OTP code. We are going to get into within the auth controller. We're gonna create right here a function validate. I'm gonna name it validate user email. Yeah, like this. We're gonna pass it the request class. And then we are going to request for the email and pass here email is equal to request, and then I'm pass here email is equal to request, and then we're gonna request for the email, and also we're gonna request for the OTP code, and then I'm pass here OTP code like this, and then we're gonna check if the user exists within the user table. User that were email, we're gonna pass here email, and then I'm pass here the user email variable, and then we're gonna pass here first like this. I'm pass here first, and then we're gonna check if the user variable is not null. If the user variable is not null, we are going to compare the request code versus the database code. And here I'm pass here if here we are going to do this if the user OTP code is equal to the request code, we are going to update is valid email column like this. And then if the code is invalid, we are going to send a message invalid code. We're gonna pass here else. We're gonna pass here invalid code. And if we don't find the user, I'm gonna copy this. We are going to pass here else. We're gonna say user not found. And then here I'm pass here user not found like this. And then yeah, like this guys. Now we're gonna try this. We are going to get into within API.php, and then we are going to create the endpoints. And I'm gonna get into within the root folder, and inside the root folder we're gonna get into within API.php. And right here I'm gonna duplicate these endpoints. We are going to pass here users / we're gonna pass here verify, we're gonna pass here verify email, pass here hyphen verify email. Like this, we are going to use the post HTTP verb, and we are going to hit this method right here, validate user email. I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm pass it here, and like this guys, and everything is okay right now. Now we're gonna try to check this. I'm going to create another user right here, and I'm gonna try to check if everything is running right here. Our Laravel save is running, and also our mail dev is running, and we are going to restart our queue server, pass here php artisan queue work, and then we are going to try it again. I'm gonna create another user and pass here David, and pass here David, and then here david@gmail.com, and then we're gonna try. I'm gonna hit send again. And then here we are going to create the user. Everything is okay. We just created the user. Your account has been created successfully. Now I'm going to use this code in order to validate the user email address. Now we're going to use this OTP code in order to validate the user email. I'm going to copy first of all this URL. We're going to pass it to the second tab here. And then here I'm pass here post, and then we're going to say verify email. We are going to choose body and X www form URL encoded. And here we are going to pass here email, and then here David, and then @gmail.com. And also we're going to pass here OTP code like this. And then I'm going to copy it. I'm going to select OTP code, and then we're going to pass it here. And then we're going to hit send. And you can see that actually we don't get the response from the server. We are going to get into within the auth control. You can see once we just check right here if the request code is equal to the database code, we need to send right here a response. I'm gonna copy this. And then we're gonna pass it here. And then we are going to say your email has been validated. Your email has been validated like this. And then we are going to go back within Postman, and then I'm gonna hit send. And then you're gonna see your email has been validated. You can see that actually it works pretty well. And you can see is validated email column. The actual value is 1. Alright guys, now gonna move to the login endpoint. We're going to use Laravel Sanctum for issuing access and refresh token. Now in order to install Laravel Sanctum, you just simply to tap this command right here, PHP artisan install current API. And in order to add Laravel Sanctum inside the user model, we are going to copy the has API token streets and then gonna put it within the user model. Get it, and here we are going to get into within the user model. We're gonna add it right here like this. Now we're gonna move inside the auth controller. We are going to create a function right here. I'm gonna copy the register function. I'm gonna duplicate it, and then we are going to pass here the login function. I'm passing login, and we are going to request for the password and email. We're gonna say the email is gonna be required and the password is gonna be required. And then if we got an error right here, I'm going to return, if the validation fails, we are going to return an array of errors. And now you can see inside the validated user email function, we have a line right here that allows to retrieve a given user inside the user table using the email. I'm going to put it within the user model. I'm going to put it there, and then we are going to use it. I'm not getting to within the user model. I'm going to create right here public function. I'm going to pass a public static function, and then we're going to say get user by email. Get user by email like this, and then we're going to pass the email, and then I'm pass here this line. I'm going to return the user like this. Now we're going to get into within the auth controller again, and we are going to call this static function. And then here we are going to pass only right here. We're going to pass here the user model, and then we're going to pass here the email like this. And then I'm going to copy this line here. We are getting an error right here, guys. And we're going to go back inside the user model. And then here, yeah, everything is correct right here. I can say I'm going to pass here just a string to type it. And then we are going to go back inside the auth controller. And then here we don't have any issue. Now we are going to use this line inside the login function, and I'm gonna pass it here. Now here we are going to check here. I'm gonna pass here fields like this in order to retrieve the email. We're gonna pass here email, and then here we're gonna check if the user exists. And here I'm going to do this. We are going to pass here we are going to check if the user doesn't exist. We are going to throw an error, invalid email or password. And then I'm gonna pass this all, and then I'm gonna use the hash class, and then we are going to do this, and then we're gonna pass here check. And here we are going to pass here the password and pass here fields, which is the provided password against the hash password. Pass here password, and then we're gonna pass here user, and then we're gonna retrieve the password like this. If the user is undefined and the password is incorrect, we are going to return a response of error. And then I pass here, we're gonna pass here return response. And then we are going to pass here a message, email or password, is incorrect like this. Logged in false. And for the status, we're going to pass here 422, which is unprocessable entity, 422 like this. Now we are going to move ahead. If the password is valid and the user exists, we are going to generate the access token. Now I'm going to get rid of this, and then we are going to move it's laravel.com, and right here you can see in order to generate the access token, we are going to use this line right here. I'm going to copy it, and then we're going to put it inside the auth controller. I'm going to copy it, and then we're going to pass it right here. And here we are going to pass it under the if statement, and we are going to pass here the user model, and then we are going to pass here the key. Here you're going to pass here the token, and the token is going to be a secret key. This is the key, guys. You have to generate a key. This is mine. You're going to generate yours, and then we are going to go back within the auth controller. And right here, I'm going to use the AMP function in order to get access to the key. I'm pass here AMP, and then we are going to pass here the secret. We're going to pass here secret token key. and then we're gonna pass here response. We're going to return here. We're gonna return. We're gonna pass here. We're gonna pass here the user, the logged in user. I'm gonna pass here user, and also we're gonna pass here the token. Pass here token is equal to the token right here. I'm gonna copy this line, and then we are going to get a token like this. Now we are going to import the hash class, and also we are going to change this status right here. We are going to pass here an authenticated instead of an unprocessable entity. Yeah. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into the API.php in order to hit the login methods. I'm gonna get in, and then I'm gonna duplicate this line here. And here we're going to hit the login. We're gonna pass here login. And then we're going to hit the login function. And in order to make the API.php file clean, I'm going to use root controller. I'm going to pass here roots controller. We're going to pass the auth controller, and then I'm pass here class, and we're going to invoke another function, which is the group. And inside the group function, we're going to pass it a callback. And pass here callback. And inside the callback is where we're going to put in all our endpoints. I'm going to copy all these endpoints, and then I'm put it within the callback. And then we're going to get it off the array. I'm going to remove it. And then we're going to pass only the endpoints and the function. And you can see that actually we got a file which is clean. Now we're going to get into Postman in order to test the login endpoints. I'm going to get in, and right here we're going to pass the login. And we're going to send the email and password. Now I'm going to check first of all if the validation is going to work pretty well. I'm going to hit send, and then you're going to see, yeah, the email is required. And then here I'm going to pull back the email, and then I'm going to try to send an invalid email. And then we're going to see what we're going to get. You can see email or password is incorrect, and you can see the status is unauthenticated, unauthorized. Now we are going to do this, guys. We are going to pass a valid email address, and then I'm gonna tap enter, and then let's see what we're gonna get right here. And then you can see we got the logged in user, the name, email, and other information.
Alright guys, as we already finished working on the register and login endpoints, now we are going to add Vue validate to our form, and then we're going to start interacting with our API. We are going to install Vue validate by copying this command right here. If you're using Yarn as Node Package Manager, you're going to copy the second command. Now we are going to scroll down, and then right here we are going to import Vue validates. And then we're going to get into right here. You can see we got the sign up form, we got the sign up folder, and the login folder. We're going to start with the sign up folder, and I'm going to get into within sign up store.js, and then I'm going to add this code right here. And then inside the step 1 sign up, I'm going to add another form right here, which is the username. I'm passing here enter name. Yeah, like this, because you can see that actually our register endpoint takes 3 inputs. If we get into within the auth controller and we move to the register function, it accepts 3 inputs: the name, the password, and the email. And then here we are going to initialize Vue validate inside our Pinner store. I'm gonna copy this line right here, and then we're going to head up into the sign up store.js, and then right here I'm gonna create a constant v $ is equal to the use Vue validate, and here we are going to define fields. Now guys, we're gonna create input for the step 1. For the step 1, we got the name and email. We're gonna pass a step 1 input is equal to ref, and then here I'm passing an object, and we're going to pass here the name, and also we're going to pass the email. I'm going to define a rule object for the step 1 input. Pass a rule, and pass a rule step 1 input is equal to an object. And then we're going to pass here the name, and then we're going to pass here required rule, and we are going to pass also the email. We're going to say it's going to be required, and it's going to be a type of an email like this. Now for the use validate composable, we're going to pass it to parameter. If we put our cursor over it, you can see it takes an object right here. We are going to pass it what it says at the doc. We need to pass it the rules and the state. The state represent the inputs. I'm going to pass it the rules. I'm going to pass here rules step 1 inputs, and pass here rules like this. and then here rules step 1 input, and also we're gonna pass it the step 1 input. I'm passing step 1 input like this. Yeah, like this. You can see this is what they said at the doc. We need to pass it the rules and the state. The state represents the inputs. After that, we are going to change. We are going to check the validation. You can see move step 1. Yeah, we got move step 2. You can see from getting to the step 1 sign up the Vue file, you can see we are calling a function right here, move step 1. We're going to run validation against the name and email inputs. And then inside the move step 1 function, I'm going to pass it a sync. And then we are going to pass here once. We're going to pass it is valid $. I'm going to copy it and pass here $, that value that validates like this. And then if this value is equal to true, is equal to false, we are going to return undefined. Like this, we are not going to move to the next step. I'm pass here valid. If valid is equal to false, we are going to pass here, we are going to return undefined. If it's not equal to false, we are going to move to the next step. Yeah, like this is what we're gonna do, guys. And then for the next step, we are going to do this. We are going to add these codes inside our sign up, inside our Vue file. And then we're going to head in, and in here, I'm gonna paste this code right here. This is right here. We need to pass here the input, and then we are going to pass here a div, and then inside this div, we are going to pass in the input. You can see. And then I'm going to do this. I'm gonna copy this input, and I'm gonna pass it here. And in here, we are going to move first within the signup so.js, and we are going to return right here these inputs. We are going to return here the $, reactive property, and also we're going to return the step 1 input, and we're going to pass it to the return statement. And pass here step 1 input, and also we're going to pass here the $, reactive property. And we're going to move inside this step 1 signup file. And in here, we're going to pass here, I'm going to extract this property from the store. I'm going to use store to ref function in order to preserve reactivity. If you doesn't know what is store to ref, go check out this video, guys. And then here I'm pass here $1, and pass here $, and then here I'm going to extract also the step 1 input, and is equal to store to ref. And pass here store to ref, we're going to import it from Pinya, and then we're going to pass here the startup store like this. And we are going to pass here the step 1 input. Now we're going to pass it here. And then we are going to pass here step 1 input dot name like this. And like this, guys. Now we are going to pass here $, and then we're going to pass here that name like this, and then we're going to try to run validation against the name field. And I'm going to copy this class, the class attribute I'm going to pass to the input, and I'm going to copy also the placeholder and pass it here. And also the type is a text like this, and then we're going to try to see what we're going to get. Now I'm going to pass here the name. I'm going to click next. And then you can see we just run validation against the name field. Value is required. Now, in order to make this file clean, we are going to create a component in order to display the validation error. We are going to head up inside a form right here. You can see we got the component folder. And then inside here, I'm going to create another file. I'm going to name it. And then inside the component folder, I'm going to pass here another folder, base components. Inside the base components, we're going to put in all our base components. And in here, I'm going to create the first base component and pass here input error. I'm passing input error, the Vue file. And then we're going to pass here the template. And then we're going to pass the code here. We are going to use script. I'm going to pass it the script. And then we are going to use right here define prop in order to define a prop. And pass here props is equal to define prop macro. Define props macro. And then we're going to pass it an array of prop. And pass here errors. Yeah, errors. Now I'm going to pass here props.errors. We are going to get rid of this. We're going to pass here props.errors. And then here, I'm going to copy this, and then we're going to pass it here, props.errors, here props.errors, props.errors, And like this, now we are going to import the input error inside the step 1 file. And then here, I'm gonna come here and then I'll pass here import. We're gonna pass here import input error. Yeah, we just import it. And then here, what I'm going to do, we are going to pass it right here. And then we're going to pass a prop to the input error component. Now we are going to pass it the errors array and pass it errors. And then is equal, we are going to copy this line right here is equal to $.name errors. And then I'm going to pass it right here like this. And then we're going to go back inside the input error components. I'm going to add in something about the color of the error. And then here I'm passing style. And then we'll pass a scoped. When we create the style tag and we pass it the scope property, it means the CSS is going to be applied only inside these components. And then here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to remove the second style, and then I'm going to copy the error class, and I'm going to pass it here. And here I'm going to say the color is going to be red, like this. Now I'm going to refresh the page, and then here we don't display anything right here. It seems we got an error. I'm going to pass here the slot here. The slot represents the input. And then we're going to pass here the slot like this. And then we're going to check again. I'm going to go back inside the browser. And then here I'm going to refresh. And then I'm going to click next. You can see value is required. Now we are going to add the validation to the second input, to the email input. And then I'm going to copy these components. I'm going to duplicate it. And now we're going to pass here email. Yeah, like this, and pass here email. And if we click to the next button, we are going to run validation against the name and the email input. Yeah, you can see. And then if I tap here the name, you can see I'm pass here Ben. And for the email, if I pass here Ben, you can see value is not a valid email address. If I pass ben@gmail.com, we are going to remove the validation error like this. And you can see that actually everything is working pretty well. Now we're going to get into the app.js file. Inside the app.js file, we don't want to import a component every time we create it, but we are going to import it automatically. And we're going to import all components inside the component folder. We're going to pass it to the Vue instance automatically. And then we're going to remove this component that we import in the step 1, the Vue file. And then I'm going to remove these components because we don't want to import it again inside the step 2 components. And here I'm going to refresh the page and I'm going to click next. You can see that actually the validation runs pretty well. Now we are going to move to the second step. Right here, if I pass here Ben, and here I'm passing ben@gmail.com. And then if I click next, yeah, we move to this second step. Now we are going to add validation to the second step too. We're going to head in the store.js file within the synapse.js. And then here, synapse.js, we are going to create another input. Right here, you can see we got right here the step 1 input. I'm going to duplicate it. And then we're going to pass here the password. I'm going to pass here the password like this. And then we're going to say step 2 input. And we're going to define the step 3 input and pass here step 3 input. We have right here the OTP code like this. Now I'm going to create another input right here, rule step 1 input. And then we are going to create another input right here, another validation input. I'm going to copy this. We're going to say rule step 2 input like this. And here we're going to pass here only the password. Pass here the password.
Now let's run validation against the second step. I'm going to duplicate the use validate composable. And here we're going to pass here v step 1. And here I'm passing v step 2. And now we are going to pass here v step 1 inside the move step 1 function. Pass here step 1 like this, and then I'm going to copy this code and pass it within the move step 2 function like this. And then we are going to run the validation against the second step. Now we are going to do this. You can see we got right here the rules step 2. We are going to pass here the rule step 2 to the use validate composable. I'm gonna pass it here, and also we're gonna pass the step 2 inputs and pass it here. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the step 3 because we are going to run the validation against the step 3. I'm going to duplicate this line, and then here we're gonna pass here v step 3, and then here is equal. We are going to define another input right here, another rules object for the step 3. I'm gonna copy this line, and then I'm gonna pass here rules step 3, and then we are going to pass here the OTP code. I'm gonna copy it, and then we're gonna pass it here, and then we're gonna copy the rule step 2. We're gonna pass it to the v step 3 here, v step 3 dollar, and then like this, and then I'm pass it here the step 3 input like this. Now we're going to move. Now we're gonna scroll down, and then we are going to pass these reactive properties to the return statement. And then in here, guys, we are going to do this right now. We are going to pass here the step 1, the step 2, and the step 3. And here I'm passing the step 2 input, and passing the step 2 input, and then the step 3 input. We are going to pass also right here the v, and then we're gonna pass here step 1, and then step 2, and then step 3. Now pass here v step 1, v step 2, and then here v step 3. Now we're going to get into within the step 1, the SANAP file. Here we're gonna extract the v step 1 like this. We're gonna pass it here where we got v dollar. Pass it here and here too. Now we're gonna get into within the second step. I'm gonna pass here this. We're going to pass here this step 2, and we're going to extract it from the SANAP store. I'm gonna pass here const. I'm gonna use the structuring, and then we are going to is equal to store to ref in order to preserve reactivity. And then I'm pass it here. We're gonna pass here SANAP store like this. I'm gonna remove the unmounted hook right here. And here we're gonna pass here step 2 dollar like this. We are going to run the validation against the second step. We're going to say enter password like this. Yeah, password. We are going to extract also the step 2 input and pass here step 2 input. And we're gonna pass here step 2 input that password. Now we're going to get into the browser, and then we're gonna try this. And here I'm gonna refresh the page. Seems we got an error. I'm gonna check right here. We pass here the step 2 input. We are going to get into the console in order to see which kind of error we got. And then here, I'm not getting to the console. And then you can see we got an error right here within the step 1. You can see we pass here $2. That's why we got an error. I'm going to remove $1, and then we are going to refresh the page again. Pass here Ben, and here Ben, I'm going to pass here ben@gmail.com. Like this, we're going to move to the second step. And for the second step, we got errors is undefined too. For the step 2, we pass here step 2 that password like this. Yeah, I'll pass here Ben, and then ben@gmail. I'll pass here ben@gmail.com. I'm gonna move to the second step. Yeah, I'm gonna click next. Yeah, we don't run validation against the second step. And then you can see that actually you don't run validation to the second step. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get into first within the SANAP store. And then in here, I'm going to pass here the name because I don't want to enter the name every time. For the first step, I pass here ben@gmail.com. And then here for the second step here, I'm going to check right here. We are going to pass here move step 2. And then we'll pass here this. Everything is okay right here. Now we are going to check again. I'm not getting to the step 2, calling the function move step 3. Now we are going to do this. We are going to get into within the SANAP store, and then I'm going to pass this code, the validation code inside the move step 3. And then I'm gonna copy this and pass it here and pass it async. And for the second step right here, you can see current step, that value is equal to the step 2. And pass here is equal to the step 1 because we are going to move to the first step. And then here, we are going to check again. Yeah, move step 3. And then here, like this, now it's gonna work. And then if I refresh the page again, you're gonna see here, I'm gonna pass here, you can see we got Ben. And then we're gonna move to the second step and I click next. You can see that we just ran the validation against the second step. Now, if I pass here the password, we are going to move to the third step. Now, we are going to run the validation against the third step, which is the final step. Now, let's create another function inside the SANAP store to validate the final step. We are going to call it SANAP, and then I'll pass here a sync function. And then here we're gonna pass here sign up user. We're gonna pass here sign up user. And then here we are going to, I'm gonna copy this code right here to run the validation against the input and pass here v step 3. Once we just validate the second step, we are going to make an HTTP request to the server in order to validate the OTP code. Now I'm going to pass here try catch and pass here try catch here and pass here fetch. We're gonna pass here const, yeah, pass here res, and then we're gonna pass here / we're going to hit an endpoint. We're going to get into within the API.php, and then I'm gonna copy this endpoint right here. I'm gonna pass it there right here, and then we're going to validate the OTP code. Pass here const is equal to data and is equal to res. We're going to await a JSON object and then res.json and pass here res console.data like this. Now I'm going to comment this, and then we're going to uncomment it when we are going to start interacting with the API. Now I'm going to do this. You can see right here we pass the sign up user. We're gonna pass it to the return statement. I'm gonna copy it, and then we're gonna pass it here too. We're going to move inside the step 3, and right here we are going to call this function on click event and pass here on click event. We are going to pass here sign up store and pass here sign up store that's sign up user. And also I'm going to import something right here like the store to ref. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna copy first the input error, and then we're gonna pass it within the step 3. And then here I'm gonna pass it here, and I'm gonna pass it here, guys. And then we are going to pass here the step 3. And now we are going to import the step 3 and pass here v and pass here first the store to ref, and then we're gonna pass here sign up store, and here we're gonna pass here v step 3 dollar like this, and then we're gonna pass here step 3 that OTP code like this, and then I'm gonna copy here we are going to import also the step 3 input and pass here step 3 inputs, pass here step 3, pass here step 3 input, and then we're gonna pass it to the inputs like this, and then here we're gonna pass here OTP code. And right here, guys, I'm going to import also the step 1 input in order to display the user email, and then I'm pass here step 1 input, and then here I'm pass here span tag. Yeah, I'm pass here is span tag here, pass here step 1 input that email address, and then we are going to display it there. And for the input right here, I'm passing margin tab here, pass it 2, and for the placeholder we're gonna pass here code like this, and everything is okay right now. Now we're gonna check again, and here I think we just finished. Now we need to get into the browser, and then we're gonna check again. I'm gonna refresh the page, and then you're gonna see what we're gonna get. You can see this is the step 1, step 2, and pass here the password, and then we are going to move to the step 3. You can see you got right here ben@gmail.com, and then I'm gonna click sign up. You can see value is required, and then we are going to pass here the code. And here we're going to get into within the step 2 and pass here for the input type and pass here password like this. Alright guys, now we're gonna start API interaction, but for that I'm going to tweak something inside the sign up store, because right now you can see on the sign up page we got something doesn't work pretty well about step. If I click on the next, we move to the next step, which is the second step, and the previous button doesn't work. The next work. If I pass the password, we can move to the final step, and the previous button right here at the final step move to the first step instead of the second step. Now we're gonna tweak something inside the sign up store, and then we're gonna start API interaction. And here for the move step 1, we're gonna name it move step 2, because we're going to move to the second step where we're gonna enter the password. And here we're going to pass here move step 1 like this. We're gonna pass it to the previous button inside the step 2. I'm going to get into within the step 1, and then here we're gonna pass here move step 2 like this, and then within the second step here we are going to pass to the previous button move step 1. Alright guys, now let's start interacting with our API. We already fixed the issue inside the sign up store. Now we are going to get into within the base component. Inside of here, I'm gonna create another component. I'm gonna name it loading
.vue file. We are going to use these components in case we are making HTTP requests, and then we are going to show up something. And then I've already created these components. You can see it's pretty easy. We pass it one prop, which is the loading, and then we unpass here a div and then some CSS here. Pretty easy, guys. And now we are going to use these components inside the login page. And also we are going to use something right here in our package, which is Vue toast notification. You're going to copy this command in order to install it. Now, in order to use the Vue toast notification package, I'm going to copy this two line right here. And then we are going to get into within the app.js file here. And inside of here, we're going to pass it here. And also this says this, we are going to pass the toast plugin to the Vue instance. I'm going to copy this. We're going to pass it right here. We're going to add the toast plugin to the Vue instance.
Now, in order to use the toast notification package, guys, we're going to copy this two line right here at the doc. We're going to import the use toast composer function, and also we're going to import the theme sugar.css. I'm going to copy that, and then we're going to head up inside the helper folder. I'm going to pass here helper. Inside the helper folder, we're going to put in another file. I'm going to name it urls.js file. And then we are going to call the use toast composable. I've already created some function right here. I'm going to pass here the show error function and the success message function. You can see we pass it. We use the toast constant in order to call the error function and also the success function, because the use toast composable return an object. And then we're going to pass to each function like error and success the message property, and then we're going to pass it an object like position, duration, dismissible property. Yeah, you can see this is what it says at the door, guys. We need to pass the message, the type of the toast notification. We got success info warning, and also the position. Yeah, the position of the toast notification on the screen. I'm passing bottom right. You can see this is what I passed right here. Now we are going to create another file inside the helper folder. We're going to name it http.js. Yeah, inside the http.js file, I'm going to put in some helper function that we're going to be using in order to make HTTP requests to the server. Now, the first one, we're going to name it export function post data, and then I'm pass it the endpoint, and then the second parameter is going to be the inputs. I'm going to return a promise, return new promise. Now I'm going to use try catch in case we got an error, we're going to catch it. And here we are going to do this. First of all, we are going to use fetch API in order to make HTTP requests. I'm passing a const res, and then I'm passing await. And as we are using right here await, we are going to pass here a sync to make because we are going to use the await await. And here I'm passing here fetch. We're going to pass the endpoint. And here we're going to import the app object. Yeah, we're going to import the app object from the API folder. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pass the app, and then we're going to import it from the API folder like this. And then we're going to get access to the base URL. That's base URL plus and then / I'm going to pass you, we're going to pass you the endpoints. And then I'll pass here plus endpoint. And for the second parameter, I'm going to pass it an object. Here we're going to pass here an object, pass here headers, and then here we're going to pass here accept, and then you're going to pass here accept. Yeah, accept like this application / JSON file / JSON. And in here, we're going to pass here the method. We are going to pass here post, and then for the body, I'm passing JSON stringify like this. And here I'm pass here the inputs, and here we are going to create another constant, the data, and then we are going to await JSON data and pass here res.json like this. And here, guys, we are going to resolve the data and pass here resolve data. And in case we get an error, we are going to return it. Now, if you take a look to the response type right here, guys, you can see here, I'm going to try to create a user. I'm going to remove here the name, and then I'm going to hit send. You're going to see what we're going to get right here. We're going to get an array of headers. You can see we got an object. We have one property inside of it, which is the headers. It is an array. Now, in case we got an error, we are going to reject it. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this and pass here reject. And then we're going to pass here error. Here we're going to pass here errors. Yeah, I'm passing here that's errors. Yeah, the errors right here, it is an array. Now we're going to get into within the Synapse store that is, and then we're going to call the post data function. And in here, we're going to move to the step 3 right here. You can see this is the move. When we're going to call the move step 3 function, we are going to call the post. We're going to call the post data function. Yeah, in here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pass here first try catch. And then here, I'm going to pass here this code. Now, what I'm going to do this, I'm going to run right here first, the validation. I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to pass it here. Yeah. In case the validation runs pretty well, we are going to make an HTTP request to the server. And in here, I'm going to remove that. Yeah, like this. And here we're gonna pass here a sync. Yeah, we already pass here a sync, and then I'm gonna pass here a wait, pass here post data. And then we need to pass here two parameters. The first one is the endpoint, and pass here /users. And then we are going to pass it the input. The input is an object. And pass here inputs one. Here you can see we got two types of inputs. We have right here the step 1 input and the step 2 input. We need to send the name, email, and passwords. And here I'm gonna pass here step 1 input, that value. Yeah, I'm pass here step 1 input, that value like this. And here I'm gonna use spread operator. I'm gonna copy the step 1 input, that value inside this object. I'm copy properties. And here I'm pass here stay and pass here and then here I'm pass here step 2. Yeah, we're gonna pass here step 2 input that value like this. And then we're gonna send the name, email, and password to the server. And here we're going to pass a const data. And then we're going to, in case we just created a user, I'm gonna pass here data. Yeah, like this, that message. And in case we get an error, you can see that actually this function right here, it's returning an array of errors. And then here we are going to iterate through the errors right here because we are going to reject an array of errors. And then I'm pass here error like this. Pass here const. We're gonna pass here const message of errors and pass here errors like this. And then we are going to pass here show. We're gonna call a function show error, and then I'm pass here the message like this, and everything is okay. And also here, guys, I'm going to create another reactive property. I'm gonna name it const loading is equal to ref. I'm gonna assign it false as default value. Now, when we are going to start making our HTTP request to the server, we are going to change the value. We're gonna pass here loading that value, and then I'm gonna assign it a default. I'm gonna pass here the value of true. In case we just finish processing the request, we're gonna pass here the value of false like this, and then we're gonna move to the step 3. And in case we get an error, I'm gonna pass here false. Yeah, and everything is okay so far. Now we're going to head inside here. You can see we got the all folder, we got the sign up, and then we're going to head in the step 2. And in here, first of all, we need to pass to the return statement the loading reactive property that we just created. And then we are going to head in the step 2. Here, I'm going to pass here loading, yeah, like this. And I'm going to import a component inside the component folder, which is the loading. I'm going to pass it right here, loading, and then like this. And here I'm passing loading. We're going to assign it loading like this reactive property. And in here, when we're going to call the move step free, we are going to make an HTTP request to the server. Now I'm going to get into the HTTP.js file. In here, I'm going to try to fix something. You can see pass here the base URL instead of the API base URL. And in here, I'm pass here the API base URL. And also I'm going to add another key to the headers object. And here we're going to pass here the content tab. We are specifying the type of content that we send to the server. And you can see here, as I said, when we are making an HTTP request, when we are hitting this endpoint, the user's endpoints, in case we get an error, we don't provide the name or the password. We are going to get an object to contain one key, which is the headers. It is an array. Now here, instead of rejecting the headers like this, I'm going to reject only the header. And then in here, guys, we're going to pass here, we are going to check the type of the data. If the data, that's headers, yeah, we got this key is not defined. And then here is not defined. We are going to resolve the data. Else, if it is not undefined, we are going to reject the error. We're going to pass it data.errors. Yeah, like this. And then we're going to try this. We're going to give it a shot inside the browser. Now I'm going to try to, yeah, we pass here resolve. And then here we pass here reject. And then I'm going to try this inside the browser. We're going to get in. And in here, we are going to move to the first step. I'm going to click next. Right now, I'm going to refresh the page. And then in here, I'm going to click next. And then here, I'm going to provide a password. I'm going to click next. And then here, you can see that actually we are making an HTTP request to the server. And then you can see we don't got any response from the server. You can see we are sending the name, email, password. And here you can see the email has already been taken. This is the error that we got from the server. Now, in order to fix this type of error, we are going to, I'm going to try to check again right here. We pass here if the type of data.errors is different from undefined. Yeah, right here I should pass here reject. Else we are going to resolve the data. Now here, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to move to the first step and then I'm going to click next. And then here I'm provide a password, next. And you can see the email has already been taken. And you can see that actually everything is working pretty well. Now I'm going to try to pass another password, another email here. I'm pass you even another name. I'm going to pass here Isaac. And then Isaac 12. And here for the name, I'm passing Isaac. And then I'm gonna hit right here next. And then we're going to provide a password. I'm going to click next. And then you're going to see what we're going to get here. And then actually you can see your account has been created successfully. We got a message. And also we move to the final step where we need to pass the OTP code in order to validate our email address. Now we're going to get into again we're going to head up inside the signup.store.js. And in here, we are going to make another HTTP request to the server. I'm going to copy the try catch block. I'm going to copy it. And then we're going to pass it inside the signup user function. We're going to pass it here. And in here, we are going to do this. We're going to pass it here. And then we are going to get rid of this line right here. We're going to remove it. And also we are going to change the endpoints. If you get into inside the API.php file, you can see users, and then we are going to add another endpoint, which is verify email. I'm going to copy this, and then we're going to pass it here. Yeah, we're going to pass it here / and then we're going to pass verify email like this. And for the input, we are going to pass this step-free input. You can see we need to send only the OTP code. I'm going to copy it. And then we're going to pass it here. I'm going to pass it here. We're going to send only the step-free inputs. Yeah, like this. And we're going to check everything is okay. Now we are going to get into inside the step-free. I'm going to copy here the loading property, the loading component, and then we're going to pass it inside the step-free signup.vue file. We're going to pass it here. And we are going to extract the loading reactive property. We're going to pass it here, loading. And right now, everything is okay. Now we are going to get into the browser in order to give it a shot. to try if everything is working pretty well. I'm gonna check here. And also we are going to run the queue saver and pass here PHP artisan queue work. And also we're gonna run mail dev and pass here mail dev like this. Now we are going to move to the sign up page, and then we're gonna try it again. And here I'm going to create another user. I'm pass here random, pass here Joseph, and then this name Joseph. And then we're gonna pass here the email address. We're gonna pass here Joseph, and then I'm pass here even 2020. I'm pass here 22@gmail.com, and then I'm gonna hit next. And then we are going to we are going to provide a password. I'm gonna click next. And then we are going to create a user. Your account is being created successfully. Now we need to provide the OTP code. We are going to get into inside MailDev. You can see we just received the code. And I'm going to enter the code, and then we're gonna validate our email address. And then I'm gonna pass here the code, and then I'm gonna hit sign up. And then you can see, yeah, we got an error from the server. Must be a type of string now. And then here we got an error. Yeah, when we are trying to validate the email address. I'm gonna click again sign up. You can see we got an error. And then on line 28, yeah, you can see. Yeah, you can see right here the user on line 28, we're gonna get in, and then we're gonna fix this error. We're going to get into within the auth controller. Let me check. Here we got the error. Inside right here, you can see we got the error inside the user model. We are going to get in. I'm gonna click right here. We are going to, you can see we got a function validate user email. And then we are calling the get user by email. We're gonna get in on line 28. Yeah, we're gonna scroll down, and then we got right here the function. And in here you can see here, guys, on this line right here, when we are validating the user email, we should send also the email address. You can see here, if we get into within the auth controller, you can see we need to send also the email address. Yeah, you can see the email we need to send the email and the OTP code. Now I'm gonna try to add something right here. We're gonna run validation against the email and the OTP code. And then we're going to, in case we got an error, the validation fails, we're going to return an array of errors. And here we're gonna pass here fields.errors. Yeah, I'm pass here fields, and then we're gonna pass here fields, and then we're gonna get access to the email key. And here we are going to pass here user, and then here I'm pass here fields like this, and then I'm pass here OTP code like this, variable. I'm pass there, and everything is okay so far. Now we're gonna try this again, and everything is okay right now. We're gonna get into again here. I'm gonna click on sign up. And then you can see the email field is required. And here, in order to send the email field, we're going to head up again inside the sign up store. And here we're gonna pass here. We need to pass here this step. We're gonna pass here this step 1. And here I'm gonna copy this step 1. We're gonna move right here. And here we're gonna pass here and then we're gonna pass here that value like this. Now we're gonna try it again. Here I'm gonna click here sign up, and then you can see your email has been validated. Yeah, everything is working pretty well. Alright guys, now we're gonna move to the login page, sign in. We're going to work on this page because we already finished with the sign up page. Yeah, we're gonna move to the sign in page. Now here guys, we are going to do this. First of all, I'm going to get into within the sign up store.js, and in here I'm going to copy this function. Here I'm gonna copy the sign up user function, and then in here I'm going to add in something. Right, you can see when we just finish processing this request to the server, we need to move the user to the dashboard. And here I'm going to do this. You can see that actually if we get into within the auth controller, When we are validating the user email address, we are sending here the message, your account has been validated. Also, we are sending the user right here. Now we are going to do another thing, guys. We are going to generate the access token. And to do so, I'm going to copy this line right here, these two lines, and then I'm gonna pass it here. I'm gonna scroll down. Your account has been validated, and in here I'm pass here user, and then we are going to create a token for the user, and then we're gonna return it. And then I'm pass here the token like this. Now we are going to get into within the Sign Up store. And in here, I'm going to do this. We are going to store the user token and the logged in user inside the local storage. And here I'm passing local storage that set item, and then I'm passing user, we're gonna pass user data, and here we're gonna pass here JSON that's stringify, and then we are going to pass here and pass it we are going to copy here the data.user, and also we're gonna copy here the data.token like this dashboard. And in here we're gonna pass here window we're gonna pass here location href, and then here I'm pass here app / and here I'm pass here admin. Let me check. I'm gonna pass here admin like this, and then I'm tap inner. Yeah, here I should pass here dashboard, and then you can see we move to the dashboard page, and then here I'm pass here dashboard like this. And I'm going to copy the sign up user. We're gonna put this function inside the login store, and here we're gonna pass here sign in for the function. We're gonna pass here sign in like this /login like this, and we're going to send the input. You can see we got right here the step 1, the step 2, and here I'm going to create the input for the step 1 and for the step 2. Pass here const step 1 input. We're gonna pass here this. Pass here const step 1 input. Like step 2, we need to pass the password. And here I'm pass here step 2 is the password. Pass here password. And we're going to pass here the step 1 and step 2. And like this. And now we need to pass the step 1 and step 2 to the return statement, and pass the step 1 input, and also we need to pass the step 2 input. And we're getting to within the step 2 login, and we are going to extract and then in here we're going to extract this reactive property. And I'm passing const and is equal to store to ref in order to preserve reactivity, and then I'm passing login store. And in here, I'm going to extract the loading reactive property. We haven't yet created it. And here, I'm going to create another property right here, which is the loading is equal to ref. The default value, we're going to assign it false. And then we're going to pass it to the return statement loading. And here, I'm going to copy the loading components inside the step 1 login. I'm not getting to the step 2. Yeah, here I copied the loading component, and then we're gonna pass it inside here, this step 2 component. We're gonna pass it here. Yeah, I'm gonna pass it here. And also we are going to extract the step 2 inputs, and pass here the step 2 input. And then we are going to pass here the error component. Again, we are going to go inside the step 1 sign up, and then I'm gonna copy this line, and then we're gonna put it inside the step 1 and the step 2. Here we're gonna pass it here, we're gonna pass it into email, and here we're gonna pass here the step 1 that email like this, and pass email, and here email like this. Yeah, and also we're gonna add validation. We're gonna run validation against the step 1 and the step 2. And here I'm going to remove this input, and actually everything is okay. And here we are going to pass a const, and then I'll pass a step 2 input is equal to store to ref function in order to preserve reactivity, and pass a login store. Yeah, like this, we just extract the step 2 input, the step 1 inputs. Yeah. Now I'm going to get into within the signup store.js, and in here I'm going to copy these two lines in order to run validation against the email input. I'm going to copy the use view validate composable, and then I'm pass it inside the login store. Pass this two line right here, and I'm gonna go back inside the sign up store. We are going to copy the rules step 1 object. I'm going to copy this, and then we're gonna pass it inside the login store right here. Pass here rules step 1 input, and then here we are going to request for the email, and then we're gonna say the email must be the type of email like this. Yeah, the type of email. And also for the step 2, we're gonna request for the password. Rules step 2 inputs, and here we're gonna pass here the password, and the password must be required. And here I'm going to create the validate step 1 and validate step 2 reactive property. I'm gonna duplicate this input, and in here we're gonna pass here step 2, and then here step 2 like this. For the step 2, we're gonna pass rule step 2 inputs. Now let's run validation against the first step. We're gonna pass here validate, and here pass here async, and here we're going to run validation for the first step. And for the second step, I'm going to copy these two lines. We're gonna pass it inside the sign-in function, validate, and then here we're gonna pass here step 2 like this. Now we're going to get into within the step 1. I'm going to extract the v step $1. Now inside the step 2, we are going to extract the v step 2. Here and pass here v step 2. And then for the inputs, I'm going to copy this input right here. I'm gonna copy the inputs and the lowering components. We're gonna put it inside the step 2 login. And here we are going to pass here the inputs like this. I'm gonna remove this, and then we're gonna pass the lowering components and the input error. We are going to extract here the step 2 input and the v step 2 reactive property. And also we're gonna extract also the sign-in function, and we haven't yet passed it to the return statement. You can see right here, we need to pass also the v step 2. We're gonna pass here the v step $1, and also we're gonna pass here we're gonna pass the v step $2. Pass here v step 2, and also we're gonna pass here the sign-in function. Yeah. Now let's call the sign-in function. I'm going to pass to the sign-in bar, and I'm passing on click events. We're going to pass here login store, and then login store.sign-in like this, and then we are going to make an HTTP request to the server. Now you can see here, guys, I'm not trying to debug something here. I'm going to make an HTTP request to the login endpoint, and then I'm 8 cents. You can see actually right here, I don't provide the email. And then we got a status of unprocessable entity and an object which contains an errors property, which is an array. Now let's say we provide here an invalid email. Let's see what we're gonna get right here. I'm pass here an invalid email, and then I'm gonna hit send here. And then you can see that actually we're getting an object which contains the message and is logged in properly. And actually we don't have the possibility to reject this type of error. You can see if we get into within the JS file, you can see right here we are checking if the data.errors is undefined. If we got the errors properly, we are going to reject this array of errors. Now in our case, in order to reject this error, in case of the password is invalid or the email is invalid, we are going to return here an array of errors. And in here, I'm going to do this and pass here the errors key and pass the errors like this. And then here, I'm going to pass this. I'm going to pass the message key and this logged in key inside the errors array. We are going to head up again inside the http.js file. In here, I'm going to create another constant and pass a const errors. And then here, I'm going to check if the data.errors is an array. We are going to return data.errors. Else we are going to return object.values. Now I'm gonna pass here if we're gonna pass here array is array, and then I'm pass here data.headers. If it's an array, we are going to return the data.headers. Else we are going to return the object.values. And here we're gonna pass here data.headers like this. And here what I'm doing here, in case we got here an array, we are going to return an array of headers that contains header message. Now in case we got right here an object, we are going to return object values. Yeah, and the value is email, and the email or password is incorrect and false. This is the value. Now here I'm going to do this. We are going to pass, we're going to return right here an array of headers, else we're going to return the object.values. And I'm not going to pass the headers constant to the reject function like this, and everything is okay so far. Now we're going to try this inside the browser, and in here we're going to move to the sign-in page. Here I'm going to pass you the email. I'm going to refresh the page first, and then we're going to try this. I'll pass you an invalid email, pass the email, pass you email, and then at gmail.com, and then I'm going to hit next. And then here I'm pass an invalid password. I'm hit sign in, and then you're gonna see what we're gonna get right here. You can see show error. Yeah, we got an error. Now let's head up inside the sign up store. We're gonna copy this line. We are going to import the show error and the success function inside the login store. We're gonna pass it here, and like this. Now we're gonna try it again. I'm going to refresh the page, and then I'm going to provide an invalid email and invalid password in order to check this. Pass here email at gmail.com. We're going to click and provide right here an invalid password, and then I'm going to hit sign in, and then you can see email password is incorrect, and also we display right here false. You can see we got right here false. I'm now remove here. We're going to get into within the auth controller. We're going to get rid of we're going to comment this line right here. Now we are going to get into again within the helper folder, and inside the helper folder we have the util.js file. I'm going to create in another file right here that another function that we're gonna use in order to extract data that we're gonna store inside the local storage. And here we're gonna do this function, and then we're gonna name it get user data like this. And this function is gonna return data stored inside the local storage, because when we're gonna log in a given user, we are going to store his data inside the local storage. Now first of all, I'm going to log in a given user, and here I'm going to pass you Ben. Here I'm gonna copy it, and then we're gonna pass you ben@gmail.com, and then we're gonna pass you a valid password, and then I'm gonna hit sign in, and then you can see email password is incorrect. And here I'm pass you, I'm going to create another user, and in here I'm pass you Ben. Here for the email pass you Ben123, and then I'm gonna copy the email. I'm gonna hit next, and here for the password I'm pass you 123456, and then I'm gonna hit next, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna get. We're going to send an email to the user. You can see we just sent the email, and then here we are going to pass you the code. I'm going to copy it. I'm gonna copy the code. This is the code, and then we're gonna pass it here in order to validate his email address. And here I'm gonna click sign up. And then once we validate the email of the user, we're going to move to the dashboard page. And as we just move to the dashboard page, we are going to set the user data inside the local storage. And here, if I pass here local storage, that's get_rm, and then here I pass here user data, you're gonna see we got user data inside the local storage. And here you can see right here we got an object right here. We got the name, and also we have the token. Now for the token here, I'm going to fix something here. We don't set the data inside the local storage as we should. Now in order to fix, we're gonna fix that. I'm going to get into again inside the login store, and in here I'm going to I'm gonna pass to the JSON stringify 2 key, and for the first one we are going to do this. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm passing user, and then is equal to the data that user, and here we're gonna assign to the second key is gonna be the token. Like this, I'm gonna copy this code, and then I'm put it within the uread.js file. We are going to create another function here, export function, and then here I'm gonna say set user data, yeah, like this, and then we are going to pass it here, and here we're gonna pass here the data like this, and then we're gonna call this function inside the login store and the signup store. And let's go inside the login store. Here we're gonna call here set user data like this, and then I'm passing the data, and we just imported it here. You can see set user data. We're gonna the role of this function is to set the user data inside the local storage, and also we're gonna import this function inside the signup store. Here I'm gonna remove this here, and then I'm passing set use data, and then we're gonna pass here the data. I'm passing here data like this user, and here I'm going to copy this email here. We're gonna copy this email, we're gonna use it for the login, and then I'm gonna move to the login page. In here I'm going to provide the email, and then I'm gonna hit next here. Yeah, I'm going to remove this space, and then I'm gonna hit next, and here I'm gonna provide a password 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then I'm gonna hit sign in. And then we're going to move to the dashboard page. You can see that actually if I type here local storage, we're gonna pass here local storage.getRM, and then here I'm gonna pass here user data. And then you're gonna see we got the token and we got the user key and the token. Now we are going to extract this data from the local storage, and then we are going to display the email of the name and the email of the logged in user right here. And to do so, we are going to add something inside the get use data. First of all, we're going to pass here try catch. In case we get an error, we're going to pass here, we're going to call the function show error, and then here we're going to pass error that's message, pass here that's message, and also we're going to pass here const use data is equal to local storage.getRM, and then we're going to pass here use data like this, and we are going to check if the use data is not null, and passive type of use data is different from an object if it's not null, and then I'm passive is different from an object. We are going to parse this data. We're going to convert this data to a JavaScript value, and then we're going to pass here parse use data, and then is equal to JSON. We're going to pass here JSON that's parse, and then we're going to pass use data like this, and we are going to return the parse use data constant like this. Now we're going to move inside the admin folder, and then we're going to call the get use data function. Now we're going to get into the pages admin, and then you can see we have right here the sidebar view components, and then we're going to get in. And in here we have here we have here another component, which is this little menu right here, and we are going to display the email and the name. And up here inside the script tag, I'm going to call the get user data function, pass the user data, and then I'm call get use data function from the uread.js file like this. And in here we are going to pass you. We're gonna do this. We're gonna pass here user data, the user data like this. That's user, that's name, and then I'm gonna copy it. We're gonna pass it where we got the email here. Yeah, like this, and then we're going to display the email address. And then if you get into the browser, I'm going to refresh the page, and then you're gonna see what we're gonna get. So you can see that actually we display the name and also the email. Alright guys, now we're gonna work on the logger endpoint. So you can see actually if I tap these commands here, I'm in my database. This is my database Uber clone, and then this is the actual tables that we got inside our database. Now I run this query right here, select ID, tokenable ID from personal access tokens. and we got the ID of the logged in user. Now, in order to log in the user, in order to log out the user, we are going to remove the ID of the user who's logged in inside the token, inside the personal access tokens. That's what we are going to do. I'm going to copy the personal access token table, and then we're going to get into within the auth controller. In here, I'm going to create a function, public function, and then I'm going to pass public function here. We're going to pass here logout, and then we're going to pass the request class and the request class. And in here, we're going to pass here DB, and then I'm pass the table here, which is the personal access tokens, and then we are going to remove the ID of the logged in user inside the personal access token. And here I'm going to copy the tokenable ID column. I'm gonna copy it, and then we're gonna pass it here, and then we're gonna say where we're gonna pass here request, and then we're going to pass here the user ID. We're gonna send the user ID like this. And then we're going to remove the user here. We are going to invoke the delete function. Yeah, we're going to call delete. And once we call the delete function, we're going to remove the ID of the logged in user inside the personal access tokens table like this. And then we are going to return a response right here. I'm going to copy this. Yeah, I'm going to copy this. And then we're going to return it to the front end. We're going to pass here, we're going to say, we're going to pass here a message. And then we're going to say user logged out, then user logged out, pass user logged out like this, and then I'm going to remove our keys. And also we are going to import the useDB class and pass useDB, and we are going to head up inside here the API.php file, and then we're going to edit these endpoints. I'm going to copy this, and then we're going to pass here logout. And then here we're going to pass here logout. Now let's get into inside the login store. We're going to create another function right here, logout user. And I'm going to copy all of that. I'm going to duplicate the sign in function, pass it here, and then here I'm pass here logout. And for the inputs here, we are going to remove this. For the inputs, we are going to send the user ID, and the endpoint right here is logout, and I'm going to call a function here. We are going to call a function. We're going to say we're going to pass here user data is equal to get user data like this, and then we're going to create, and then here we are going to pass here, we're going to send the user ID, and we're going to pass user data, that's user, that's ID like this. And then we are going to log out the user out of the system. And here you can see we call the function set user data. Right now we are going to pass here local storage, that's clear. We are going to clear out user data from the local storage. And then here we're going to move the user to the login page and pass here login. And that's cool, guys. Now we are going to pass the logout function to the recent statement and pass here logout. And then we are going to get into inside the sidebar view component, and then we're going to invoke this function. First of all, I need to import the login store and pass here login store is equal to use login store. We import it. And then we are going to, when we are going to click on the logout li tag, we are going to log out the user out of the system. And here on click here is equal to the login store, that's logout, on pass here, that's logout like this. And also we're gonna pass it to the menu here. I'm gonna copy this again. We're gonna pass it here, logout. And that's pretty much it. Now let's try this. And here I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to click logout. And then we're going to see what we're going to get. You can see user logged out, and then we move to the login page. And again here, we can log in. Again, this user might copy the email address, and then we're going to pass it here. And here we are going to pass here the password, 123456. And then we're going to move to the dashboard page again. And yeah, now we